God, I'm really stupid. I'm troubled. I'm troubled today. I'm so troubled. I'm so troubled. Yeah. It's a difficult day for me. Whoever's just watching this must think that I'm insane. But I hope you're enjoying listening to me say I'm troubled over and over again. Hello, everyone. I'm not actually troubled, just to say. I'm just a little bit hungover. Too many beers. A lot of beers. I was sick. Good evening. Good evening to you. I enjoyed Chelsea's performance so much. Oh, just doing it. We moved, though. It's a big day. We don't think you're insane. You probably should. I'm crazy. You know that Joker meme that's like, he was crazy, she was crazier, or whatever. Hold on. Also, if any of you want a nice thing, I'm just going to post a gym selfie as a means to boost my engagement, so hold on. Gotta zoom it in. No, it's not that one, it's that one. No. Hold on. It's raining like fuck. Okay, right. Okay, enjoyed the first episode of the pod. Looking forward to more. Yeah. Me too. I'm very much looking forward to more. I'm also wearing my other pair of new glasses, and the reason I'm wearing them today is because my ears really hurt from wearing the others. They're too tight. The lady was like, "Oh no, you don't want them tightened," and I was like, "I want them tightened," and it wasn't a good idea. My ears now hurt like crazy. But it seems like you're also all enjoying the pod, which is nice. I'll just put this over here. What up, y'all? Not much. I guess we need to start by doing Wordle. We're gonna do the Wordle. Rain warning in the UK. It'd be raining stacks of paper in this space. What do you think about that? Rain warning in the UK. Yeah. Rain warning is in effect, lads. What am I a member? Yes, someone probably gifted you. Right, we're going to start with E today. Edict. Okay. Ooh, okay. Maybe it's a double E. Okay, it's not. So something that. Beach. Right, so it could be beach. I think it has to end with CH, right? Beach, meech, veach, leech. Oh, fuck. Here's an idea. How about I do this? Yeah, it's leech. The reason I did that, some of you will say, oh, that's crazy. But the reason I did that is because then it cuts off the L and the B, and I could only think of beach and leech, and I didn't think about reach. So if we hadn't got it there, we would have been done for. Sorry, excuse me. That was not nice, and I didn't mean to do that. That was a total accident. It's cowardice. It's not cowardice. I'm just not sitting there and not getting it. What he's done there is... Yeah, Peach could have been... No, Peach, I'd already got the P out. Okay. Right. I'm going to do this now. God, I'm feeling troubled. This is the first time I think I've ever streamed hungover. Hold on, let me take my jumper off. I'm wearing a shitty top, but oh well, what can you do? Connections, please, next. Yeah, we'll do connections, don't you worry. Don't you worry about that. And this is about to happen. I better drink some water. Or tea. Tea is also very hydrating. Metamorphosis. The Trial. Those are the only 2 Kafka books I know. What's the other Kafka book? Judgment. Is that a Kafka book? Castle. Castle's a Kafka book. I don't know what the other one is. The Castle. They're all Kafka books without the moved. With the removed. I don't know which one the other one is. You and Isaac work so well together. Good. I think it was pretty good for a first episode. I think you guys are going to like the second episode, and then we've got guests going on. Is that the Kafka book? Yeah, I did a gaming stream on Sunday. On Sunday a week ago, but it was just playing Dark Souls 3. I haven't streamed today. Trial is there, but I'm trying to work out what the final one is. Is it Judgment? Yeah, okay. Kafka works with the Castle, the Judgment, the Metamorphosis. I thought it was just called Metamorphosis in English. I know it's called Diva Fandlung.
It is utterly
Queen,
ridiculous.
get a big jug of water. Well, wait, I've got water, but it's just I'm not drinking it. I'm drinking my tea. Did the thing go off as well? Yeah, it did. I hope you all like the me dancing super chat feature. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Orbit, someone said orbit, lap, circuit, revolution is to go all the way around, isn't it? The moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Tea leaves, full moon, sea change, and pupil. No. Yeah, I don't know if we'll do a Mare Kahana episode yet. You should get a soundboard when you play air horns. Yeah, I'll try do that, but we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed. Isaac released it last night, so I'm trying to work out what this is. LP could be a music thing. Full T C I P pea soup, pupil, full moon, pizza pie. Well, what do you think it is? Full moon, pupil, pizza pie. PTIC. Yeah, you're right. Very clever. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's this one? Circular things. Full moon. LP. Pizza pie. What does it mean by an LP? Is it like a disc? I don't know. Anyway, we've got a jam-packed episode today with many wonderful things happening in this beautiful, wonderful world of ours. So I think we're going to just hop straight into it with Naz Daily. I think probably one of the greatest Palestinian thinkers of our time. I did not know he was so bloody brilliant. He really is a clever chap. We're going to skip the first 3 minutes of this video of everyone's favourite Palestinian, Naz Daily. And the reason that we're going to skip him is because he's talking really stupid shit about capitalism and how being self-employed is the end stage of capitalism or something. I don't really know. Or making shitty videos is the end stage of capitalism. But yeah, he really, really has some bangers in this. So let's get into it.
Service as a contractor, and then they go and do whatever they want. And I think that's a great future, to be honest.
Can I come back to where you started? You said that you saw in your whole life people pulled apart, given the region you were born in, the fact that you are Israeli Palestinian. You are bridging two sides of a very bitter divide. I noticed in one of your videos you talked about the end of the war in Gaza, and you say that the best thing to happen to Palestinians is the defeat of the terrorists.
Yes.
A lot of people would, maybe in that part of the world, or maybe who have family there.
Already, you know that this is going to be some very profound analysis by two of the greatest thinkers of our time. Tom Swarbrick, I think his name, Swarbrick, and Naz Daly. All you need now is Musa Hassan Youssef, son of Hamas, to come in and talk.
Or whatever, take issue with the description of the word terrorists?
I love that question. Yeah, I absolutely love that question. And this question reminds me of this like sort of Western view.
Also, by the way, this kind of thing of like, he's going to go into a diatribe about the West and how we're all wrong about Palestine, you know, but one of the funny things is this whole view about terrorists is the most tired thing that has offered no solution to the Palestinian problems. And he will sit here and explain why he wants a two-state solution. But over and over again, the problem is that what has blocked the two-state solution is Israel over and over again saying that Palestinians are all evil terrorists.
On the Middle East, which is, you know, you may not see it as somebody sitting in London, but by far the worst thing for a Palestinian is not Israel. It is our fellow countrymen.
This is an amazing statement to start off with, because as much as your fellow countrymen may have killed other Palestinians, simultaneously the comparison of the destruction of Palestinian lives, the mass killing of Palestinians, all of that falls with Israel. And that is the same for many countries in the Middle East where they've been destabilized by Israel. Like, this is just an undeniable thing. But no, actually, yeah, as it turns out, it's all Palestinians' fault.
It's the other Palestinian with an AK-47. Another Palestinian with an AK-47, aka Hamas, is so dangerous for the average Palestinian because...
Really? I'm sure that he's going to give us some very, 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 very cool analysis here.
It becomes almost like a thug society. It's like whoever governs is the one with the weapon. And you can't build a society like that. And
that is literally the basis of Western society. That the government is the one who possesses the legitimate right to use violence.
That's really, unfortunately, the situation in Gaza. Before the war, after the war, during the war, even today. So yes, absolutely they're terrorists. And I'm not the one saying this just because I have an Israeli citizenship. You know, people will say that in Saudi Arabia. They are terrorists. Mm-hmm. The Hamas people are terrorists. The Emiratis will tell you the same thing. Hamas are terrorists.
This is, by the way, the most annoying part of this for me. Because people really frame a guy like this as some, like, intellectual understander, and I fucking hate this like re-orientalism where they play on Westerners being so stupid that they know nothing about the Middle East, and that they hear, oh, Emiratis, Saudi Arabia, they're advanced countries, right? They think Hamas are terrorists, so that must mean that actually all Westerners who don't think like that are stupid, when those two regimes are some of the biggest backers of violent terrorists. And also these people who sit here and claim to be advocates for democracy, human rights, and any of this stuff, but then willingly, by their own, like, just do it on their own, just big up the United Arab Emirates, you know, the people who are destabilizing Sudan, Yemen, who overthrew democracy in Egypt. The idea that there is any legitimacy to these people just because they are Arabs who say, oh, you'll now hear them call Middle East, you'll now hear them call the Palestinians terrorists. Yeah, the only reason they do that is because they want to frame themselves as advanced and civilized to stupid Westerners.
You know, I think it's important that we put enough pressure on the people with guns like Hamas that it's not cool.
To be fair, that is actually a really clever way to defeat racist movements, to go, hey guys, not cool. Don't have guns. That is not cool. And if they were to think about that, then I'm sure that Hamas would be like, yeah, okay, armed struggle, it's not very cool in the eyes of one of the coolest guys ever, Naz Daly, who has millions of followers, and Hamas would probably be interested in doing that.
You're not a resistance fighter, you're by definition a terrorist because you're instilling fear in people without any rule of law.
And also, it's kind of amazing that he also is like the people with a weapon, but then he realizes he has to say Hamas, because obviously Israel, Saudi Arabia, and all these people have weapons, and they're obviously not using them for good things. Is this guy wearing trousers? Who, William? Me or them?
Even though the argument would be, I guess, that they're resisting oppression, they're resisting occupation, and this is an expression of the anger that is felt in Gaza.
Yeah, I think that argument works on the Western audience. It's a bullshit argument.
It's amazing. Apparently that argument works on the Western audience. It also seems to work with most other Palestinians who are not, living very highly privileged lives because they don't speak out about what Israel does to them. And yes, I'm wearing trousers. Actually, I'm wearing shorts.
Excuse my words. I happen to be also Palestinian, come from Palestinian parents for hundreds of years, even before Israel existed. And I can tell you that that's not how resistance looks like. And those people should never govern. They should never be in any position of govern. This is absolutely, with no hesitation, Iranian proxy terrorism.
Iranian proxy terrorism. But clever, just wonderful, wonderful genius. This is also the funny thing about all of these people. Would never ever use the term proxy terrorism in the context of the UAE, a country which he bootlicks. He probably is just... I wonder what his videos about the UAE...
This
Look.
may be the best citizenship in the world,
This is what resistance looks like.
and they all have it. Be free in the Middle East, called the United Arab Emirates. This is what life is like for citizens from the Emirate of Dubai. And because the city is so generous, they get the craziest benefits I have ever seen. Are you ready for this? When you are born, your parents pay nothing.
What would happen if I was a South Asian coming over here, Mr. Naz Daily? But, it's just Western audiences who are stupid.
This
Then we have
is
this
the
guy.
coffee billionaire of Thailand. He made $1 billion selling coffee. How?
Hi, my name is Prayut Mahakisri. Let me tell you my coffee story.
50 years ago,
God, he loves AI.
Prayut went to study in the United States. There, he saw something that was everywhere in the country. Instant coffee.
I saw
This is so shit. Yo, they are generous to the Nepalese slaves. Yeah.
I don't know.
How do people not see it? That's
Well, I
what
don't know
wonder.
what you see of London and the marches that have existed here for several years now. I personally, we've obviously talked about this on the program a heck of a lot. I have been shocked by the amount of and the openness of the support for a terrorist organisation in by British people in Britain.
Me and you, brother. Me and you.
You too?
Of course, I was shocked. I mean, I get the Western idea of it, which is, oh, these poor people. Let's support them because they don't know any better. It's almost racist.
These people are so amazing. Genuinely, people like Naz Daily, people like Amjad Taha, Alika Labon, the people that they are appealing to, it's just, who is this? Who has actually sat there and is like, yeah, the problem of racism in the context of Israel and Palestine is, I don't know, people in the West apparently engaging in a bigotry of low expectations. What even is this? Because that's just not how people talk about it. People are like, in the context of what's happening in Palestine, Israel's violent militarized oppression against Palestinians leads to militancy. Like, what is this? How does this make for like a good interview on Palestine? But remember, this is why, you don't see Ilan Pape, you don't see any other real academics on here, very Avi Schleim, you're not seeing them regularly on LBC, because this is a show for people who think that Naz Daily is a really clever guy. Although all of the comments on this just say he is paid by Israel. And hey, Ethan's Basement, good to see you.
protests are almost racist, and you can quote me on this, and you can cancel me on this. It doesn't really matter. Why are they racist? Because they have this soft bigotry of low expectations.
This is literally just the speak of Elika Lebon. Like, genuinely, this is a newly crafted narrative coming out of people like UAE propagandists and all of these people. It's just amazing that there are people who actually fall for this. Did he make an AI Karl Marx video? Ugh.
We do not expect much from the Palestinian. So, yeah, they can kill, they can do whatever they want. They can do October 7th. And
They can kill, they can do whatever they want. They can do October the 7th. Amazing. We don't expect much of them. No, we just expect human decency out of Israel. Like, it's so insane to sit there and say this stuff. Like, all of these American and Western supremacists, it is our countries who went round destroying the world and causing all of these problems. It's not about having low expectations. It's about, understanding what's actually going on in the Middle East.
They're always oppressed, and therefore they can do no wrong. I think that's misguided. Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, that's the argument made. Coming in just now, and I hate this guy so much, his AI shit is so garbage. Riverwand, I would suggest you remove that comment. This guy is really a thinker. He's a real tough thinker. He's just told us about the bigotry of low expectations, and yet, of course, this is... I mean, Ethan Klein is addicted to ChatGPT, so maybe that's why he's hearing bigotry of low expectations, because ChatGPT just draws from people like Nas Daily as, like, equal sources of talking about Palestine as, an academic. But this kind of idea is so stupid, because it's not about a bigotry of low expectations. As a leftist, I want, a left-wing changes in societies. But the unfortunate thing of, the current status quo is that there are many liberationary movements who fight against very oppressive regimes that are not as perfect as I would like, but then I don't live there. I'm not someone who is part of that. Yeah, sure, I think Hamas are most definitely socially regressive and that they've ruled in an authoritarian manner, but I think Hamas exists in the context of Israel's occupation and its treatment of Palestinians for decades. And, the resurgence of, the kind of values that it preached has a lot to do with the fact of, the secular... more liberal, the secular, more liberal Palestinian liberationary movement of the 20th century being marginalized by the total failure of any attempts to make peace. I was reading how Yasser Arafat apparently wanted to make peace in the 1970s with Israel. He was willing to. He just said, the only thing that I want is for you to tie it to us getting a state. And the Americans wouldn't do it. But now he sits here and tells you that it's actually bigotry of low expectations to try and understand Palestine. It's not like Israel is super progressive on LGBTQ rights. They have all sorts of bigoted and racist laws about marriages. Yeah, gay people can't get married in Israel, although they do recognize gay marriages that come from outside of the country, I believe. But ultimately, as well, if you're a left-wing revolutionary and you want social progress, if you're someone who's interested in LGBTQ plus rights, climate, or whatever you're interested in specifically, I would say that Palestine fits well with all of this, because Palestine is a desire for, the people of Palestine to be liberated from a long oppressive colonial regime that is but one head of the snake of Western imperialism and Western power.
I'm Palestinian, and I'm telling you, we have done something wrong. We cannot pursue terrorism, or we cannot pursue this armed resistance as a way to get independence. And there is a world where we need two states for two people that are equally indigenous. That's the future we should build. Not for, we want one state, Palestine, 1948 lands. That's just never going to happen.
It's also amazing because, by the way, anyone I would talk to on this, the trick of people who say this kind of stuff is they'll go, well, it will never happen one state. It will never happen two state. The reason that one state is a big part of the one state being preferable is because, first of all, it's a better, more equitable solution. But second of all, the two-state has proven to be impossible because when you try and make peace with the Zionist government, they are not interested in upholding basic international law. Israel could have had a two-state by just doing that. And yes, the term equally indigenous is crazy. One is a group of settlers who came over predominantly from Europe up until 1948, and because then they'd run out of European Jewish people, because unfortunately many of them were exterminated. Do you know as well, I'd forgotten this. I knew it was a lot, but apparently after 1990, 1 million Jews from the Soviet Union immigrated to Israel. It's crazy to call them, like, both as indigenous.
A lot of people say what's been happening is a genocide.
I think genocide is a very emotional, non-scientific word. If
Listen to this. This guy is quality. I would say that what is scientific is AI slop, in that it will appeal to people's brains and make you very rich whilst you get to live a comfortable life. You know, when he was talking about, like, how he was going to get cancelled, how would you ever get cancelled for these kind of views? You're not going to lose any brand deals. You're already up here, like, in terms of your own brand and, like, life. So towing, like, the line on Palestine is going to do nothing negative for you. Sure, it'll lose you, like, a general amount of people supporting you, but there's always going to be people who just don't care and like watching your AI slop. And also, brands are going to be fine working with you. Something I find super interesting is the way Israel got so many people to come to Israel is by offering socialist practices like free healthcare, free education, money from the government to move there. I mean, they still do that to this day, but largely the Zionist project, when it first started, had a major problem, which was going to Palestine and building an agrarian society was not actually going to be able to meet the living standards of even people who lived in pretty bad situations in Europe. I think it's called dry crop farming was not a profitable thing. They originally had invited Palestinians to work alongside them. There's a Rothschild, Baron Edmund de Rothschild, who does this. He tries to replicate the plantation model from Algeria in Palestine, and then after a while he's like, this is just a waste of money and time, and so he moves away. And so what the Zionist project realized that they need to do is they need to start banning Palestinians from the labor market, even if they were more effective workers because they were used to the climate and used to the land. They would depress the wages of the Jewish settlers coming in. And so what the Zionist project then ended up doing was obviously buying land through through international donations of Jewish people, preventing Palestinians to ever work on that land. And yes, this would basically end up in this situation where where you could give Jewish settlers higher wages. And it was kind of a policy of like, okay, we're just going to look after our own. The problem that really didn't make it very socialist and leftist was that also it was just like, yeah, also fuck all Arabs, basically. Sorry, I was moving my damn camera. The only people that argue the definition of genocide is unscientific or vague are ones that think it's okay to kill in part entire ethnic... Yes, the only thing I would say is the UN definition of genocide is actually quite bad. Like, it doesn't make sense. I've spoken about this before, but UN definition of genocide prevention. Convention on the Prevention. Like, once again, I will pull this up because there's probably some of you who are new in here. If you look at this, so it's basically, in the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. As such, killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. By the way, this is also one of the most obvious parts that Israel has definitely met and is openly stated by the Israeli politicians, who simultaneously say Palestinians do not exist as a people and also believe that they should voluntarily emigrate, as they call it, from the Gaza Strip. And Trump had to stop talking like this because he was making it too clear. He kept going, Gaza's a hellhole, it's a demolition site, who'd ever want to live there? And all of this stuff that was basically just openly enunciating that Israel had created the conditions to destroy people's lives. But anyway, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, this is the one that's the most confusing. Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Now, the reason I say it's confusing is not because it's not genocide. It is a horrific genocidal action aimed at wiping out people's culture. However, how are these linked? Like, is genocide... What does destroying mean? Like, The actual definition of genocide and the scholarly understanding of it is so much further ahead than this because it looks much more at the cultural elements, whereas this kind of just touches on them a little bit. Like, this is obviously, I'm not disagreeing that any of this is genocide or genocidal. What I am trying to make clear is that these things don't really make sense all being together, and the fact that people are still so focused on killing when that is but one part kind of shows you the failure of this definition and why it is so far behind scholarly definitions of genocide. Also, I'm hot. And it's also crazy because Israel met 4 of these according to the UN.
If you believe what's happening is a genocide, then it's a genocide. I don't really care what you define it as. And if you don't believe it's a genocide, then we don't believe it's a genocide. I remember my first time going to Armenia, and everybody in Armenia said that was Armenian genocide. And then everybody in Turkey said that was not genocide. I think you'll...
This is another amazing part. This guy is gold. This guy is genuinely gold. Everyone in Turkey, the perpetrators of the genocide, whose like kind of national myths are built in part off the extermination of people, and their national heroes are very much like did not give a fuck or care about any of this. Ataturk, notably. They said it's not a genocide, so it's not a genocide. Hey, you know what I'm going to say here? I think the feelings of the genocide might be much larger than the case of... the feelings of the victims might be more important than the feelings of the genociders.
See this debate for the next hundreds of years. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it can be settled, of course. It can be settled by, judges ruling on it in the highest courts in the world.
Yeah, I used to believe that. And then I really dug deep into the United Nations.
And then Israel started paying me to say shit about the United Nations.
And I realized it is the least effective bureaucracy I've ever seen in my life. And there is no way I would trust the United Nations with anything. So I think in the last 2 years, I have lost trust in institutions and governments. And my faith is fully in the private sector, you know?
The private sector has been making people's lives so much better for so long.
But it's none in the public sector. And you've done government, you know this.
Yeah, sure. Well, we talk about that a lot as well. The other thing that people, of course, they say about Israel, and again, your experience is very telling in this, is that it is an apartheid state. Did you experience that? You experienced that apartheid growing up in Israel?
Yeah, I think that's bullshit, again.
This guy is going to get cancelled for saying sweary words. He is epic. He is one of the best guys I've ever seen. I love him. He's told me that apartheid is bullshit and he lived in Israel. So, I'm sure that he's going to give us some great explanation as to why it's bullshit.
I'm not trying to here defend Israel. I'll tell you who thinks it's an apartheid state. Let's understand them better. Am I allowed to say the B word, the bullshit?
Yeah, we can.
You can beep
do
it,
business
yeah?
with that.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I forgot. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I thought it was just you and I, not audiences.
No, don't worry about it.
If you believe that Israel and Palestine is one country, then in your eyes, I see how you think it's apartheid. Because there's a wall separating the...
Well, the government of Israel think that it's... The government of Israel think that it's one state, Mr. Nusayr Yusuf. Yeah, Nusayr Yassin, sorry. The government of Israel think that, so, I feel like maybe that matters.
Palestinians and the Israelis. If you view Israel and Palestine as two countries, then it's not apartheid. It's just a border. Like every country deserves to have a border. I view it as 2 states for 2 people, and therefore it is not apartheid.
Why would you say this? And also, by the way, in that context, the bigger threat to that is categorically Israel. Just calling it a wall, Israel annexed huge swathes of the West Bank. Some of the refugee camps in the West Bank now have huge walls going through them. I think it's the Ada refugee camp. It's so horrible to sit there and just act this privileged when you grew up, first of all, in Israel, that you have such huge amounts of money, and just to go, oh, it's just a wall and a border. And it's like, by the way, anyone who does this is bad. Anyone who tries to claim Israel is not an apartheid state because it just does it in the West Bank and Gaza is insane, because that would cut off the rump of the Palestinians. And apartheid is defined as a crime against humanity. I mean, I don't know what Destiny said, but I'm sure it's genius.
Inside Israel, there is no place I cannot go to as a Palestinian Arab Muslim. I can, theoretically get any job. I have vote that is equal to the prime minister. I can go wherever, do whatever. It is not like South Africa's apartheid. The people who say it's a
Can a Palestinian born in the West Bank or Gaza do that, even though Israel has near total control of their lives? Do Palestinians in power actually say this kind of stuff in your country? Because when you look at it, there are many Palestinian politicians who talk about this. By the way, also, there are many other forms of this where Palestinian communities, for example, are denied basic services by the government. So many of them don't have like sewage and trash collection. In fact, that opinionated girl, I think I talked about this, that opinionated girl was in Jerusalem a few days ago, and she was filming a Palestinian village, and she was like, the Palestinians, because she can't open her mouth when she talks, I don't know why. She was like, the Palestinians here, they hate the land because they leave trash. And it's just like, hey, in these communities, Israel denies them basic services. It's also, by the way, in degrees of apartheid, it's worse.
apartheid is the people who don't believe in two states.
It's also crazy that this guy just sits here and doesn't challenge him. Like, I am sorry, this is also why when some people are just like, oh, you should listen to people on the basis of their identity. I don't like that argument, because I think it just ends up being here. That's not to say that you should, like, speak over or, like, totally erase people's voices. But I would be careful with just, like, consistently making that argument, because under the lines of that argument, this guy has just an undeniable power and a right to speak about Palestine. And obviously he is not a reputable source.
Cried out during a lot of this for a better understanding of the context, the history, the religious battles that have taken place in that region for the last God knows how many thousands of years.
Yeah.
Do you think the expression of
But the thing about religion as well is the bigger problem is that near total control over the most important religious sites has been given to the state of Israel. They control these sites, and yes, they do actually matter than I think sometimes more than we give credit and account for. But like, in the context of Palestine, it's not some 1,000-year-old religious battle.
Israel as an apartheid state, or it being a genocide based on how people feel, is actually an expression of that lack of understanding?
Absolutely. I'm always shocked at how many people, when I tell them I'm Israeli, but I'm Palestinian Arab Muslim, they were like, cannot compute. Mm-hmm. It's like, what? I thought it's only Jewish. Like, people need to really dig deeper into this. Like, I studied this for 33 years, my entire existence.
I studied this for 33 years, and what I realized as someone with absolutely no morals or anything was that I could make stacks of money by talking like this in videos and being pro-Israel.
I feel like I know I am more qualified than the average Swedish person or the average immigrant in Birmingham. I know this conflict a lot more. And therefore, my opinion should matter more than the average opinion of just another person who happens to be Muslim and who says, Muslim equals I'm with Palestine, I'm against Israel. Mm-hmm. It should not be this simple. We're not tribal.
Do you think that view comes from
Muslim, Christian, and anyone practicing their religions as ostensibly how they're meant to be practiced should just be against Israel because of it being an oppressive and violent state? Definitely a failed actor. I don't know what he's up to. I don't know what this guy is actually up to. I don't know if he's a failed actor. Who knows what he is. I really also wanted to work out, someone was mentioning his shirt. Why does it say 43? Because he's not 43, he's 33. Maybe he just can't count. He was a software developer for Venmo and a mobile payment service. Sorry, for Venmo. That's what he did. And then he quit his job at Venmo and decided to explore the world making slop.
From somewhere else. That the expression of that form of, one-sidism comes from whether it's forms of extremism that exist in the Middle East that have been brought into the UK.
I don't know enough about what's going on in the UK. I know you guys have a lot of problems. Unfortunately, I'm not following them. I have enough on my own.
Sure.
But I do know that this is not about Israel and Palestine, unfortunately. I look at an average person in Bangladesh and I'm like, why do you care? Why should you?
Because it is a grave injustice. And also, by the way, people who say this kind of crap, why do you think people whose recent history has been one of colonization, theft, and marginalization and humiliation at the hands of Western colonial powers may be like, hey, I actually feel a connection with the Palestinians and not the extremist, racist apartheid state, I don't know. I think maybe Nas Daily met Destiny. I'm not even joking. I think he met Destiny in Loner Box. Yeah, he did. He did.
And 30 people showed up. 30 people showed up. That's a whole nothing. 30 people showed up. They came from like nearby towns. But the 30 people that showed up made me realize if I continue making those videos, we can get those 30 people.
You care? Why does an Hindu Indian care about this conflict? Because for them,
Hindu Indians, right? Like many of them support Israel, which you'd be fine with.
it's actually a religious conflict. It's Hinduism versus Islam. It's Islam versus Judaism. It's more of religious lines. The amount of times I get a message that says, you're a Muslim, you're supposed to stand with Muslims. We really need to stand with the truth, not with people of our fellow faith.
Yes, and the truth would be that Israel is a genocidal apartheid state, but, you don't care. Like, Israel in its very existence is exactly what it is. But yeah, I'll play it in a second, but Lonerbox and Destiny's trip to Israel, they had the honor of meeting Nas Daily. This is a real meeting of minds. You have Epstein with Nas Daily.
And so I think it's gone to the religious side. And then for the woke left Europeans, it's almost like a feel-good kind of thing. I must always be with the weaker side just because it feels good to support the weaker side. But,
I also think as leftists, what we should cling to is hope. Like, I think that we should. And I don't think that should just be blind hope, that we should, celebrate everything that, say, Zoran Mamdani does and never accept criticism about him. And I don't think that should blind us to the fact of, like, Graham Plattner just being an absolute monster. I think that is foolish and that people do need to think about what they're doing there. But, like, in the context of Palestine, it is so important to side with the Palestinians on the basis of the hope that a better world can be created. Because what Israel is doing right now, what you are kind of just poo-pooing away, is barbaric violence that was not okay when South Africa was doing something that did not get this extreme in terms of especially not inside South Africa. They were mostly doing it in other places. But, like, also, just dismissing, I was talking a bit to Isaac about this, and the new season of Blowback is really good. I remember when Ethan and Lonerbox were, like, really dismissing the militant aspect of the struggle against apartheid. If Fidel Castro had not made the decision to send over, like, advanced equipment that could outmatch South Africa, then they probably would have just been able to continue apartheid for a considerably longer amount of time, But Fidel Castro made a very major decision, and yet he's vilified. In the same way that today, Vietnamese are vilified as monsters, when the Vietnamese are the people who kicked the Khmer Rouge out of power. Those people who we are told are evil communists, the Khmer Rouge, were not kicked out of power by the Americans. Over and over again, they were treated as, like, anti-communist heroes by the Americans.
Unfortunately, and I tell you this, as my family is one of the weaker side, we have to do our own reforms to be able to thrive. Palestine needs, there's two Palestines now. Do you know this? Okay,
Well,
the average person doesn't know this.
yeah.
There's two Palestines.
Yeah.
Which Palestine do you support, the West Bank or the Gaza? Because it's two different governments. They also kill each other.
Yeah.
But the average person in the UK does not know this.
God, this guy, this is slop. Ooh. They were also talking about, I knew that South Africa and Israel had tested and worked to develop nuclear arms together, but I did not know that the plan had been to use them against the Cubans in Angola, because they were eventually beating the shit out of the South Africans. Oh no, we are losing. Oh no. We South Africans are not conquering anymore. We will have to get rid of our apartheid regime. Oh no. And also, by the way, in the context of South Africa, one of the most important things with South Africa is that it is utterly ridiculous. It may be utterly ridiculous, but we need to go harder than they did in South Africa and ensure that the changes that occur in Palestine are irreversible and that they actually address the ills of people. Because in South Africa, a kind of apartheid remains where, yes, there's like a black middle class that's emerged, but still tens of thousands of black people are being killed. Not but obviously by the apartheid government, but by hangovers of apartheid and like the situation that they're in. Have you read Hassan Kanafani? I've listened to interviews and I've read the one about the revolution 36 to 39 and some of his other stuff that's like freely available in that online. It's very good. But yeah, the South Africans. This guy is just an idiot. Do you know there are two Palestines? I actually think it is most of the people who support Israel unequivocally don't know that there are two Palestines, so to speak. But there are not two Palestines. There is one incredibly collaborationist government, and then there are Hamas, who are, the rulers of the West Bank. Both are authoritarians in the sense of, like, the PA just refused to hold elections, in part because Israel is incredibly happy with Mahmoud Abbas, because he's an idiot and a supporter of Israel. Also, I want to move this up slightly, sorry. But yeah, I think I've fiddled with this too much because it's falling down. I mean, it's almost like when we had the lady the other day when she was talking about how the black diaspora from Rwanda...
I think you've spoken before about extremism, particularly around the Muslim Brotherhood, and the potential that kind of, and you talked about Iranian backed extremism, that has been brought into the United Kingdom.
Absolutely.
That it doesn't wash in other...
I wonder when he started talking about the Muslim Brotherhood.
Like in Arab countries, it has no place. They're a designated terror group in some of these countries.
Oh, I hate these people so much. I hate these people. I hate that this guy has a right to go on television and speak like this. I hate that he's actually on the radio, but I hate that this guy thinks that he is some kind of intellect, and I hate that this guy is viewed as someone who is normal. The Muslim Brotherhood are banned in dictatorial countries, not because they are extremist terrorists, as these people make out. It is a lie that is literally used by these dictatorships so that they can repress their population. The UAE, you can read Courtney Freer is the person who writes about this best, I think. Courtney Freer, when she talks about this, Courtney Freer is like, yeah, the UAE basically didn't even really have a Muslim Brotherhood. They just used it to crack down on activists. These people who sit there and they're like, yes, the pro-Palestine left are actually pro-jihad, and they don't understand the extremism. And then it's like, neither of you two people have even a basic understanding of the Middle East. This guy is an Emirati shill. This guy is literally a moron. He is someone who thinks that it is okay to, kind of just, talk shit about Palestine and give his really amazing insights into it, whilst also simultaneously licking the boots of the UAE. Like, the UAE supports brutal, murderous dictators because they can, Like, I am perplexed that this is still regarded as, like, a decent guy to listen to by so many. No, it's not just Trump as well. It's Nigel Farage. All of these people are UAE slop lovers. They all eat up the Emirati slop and they go, yeah, actually, the Arab countries designate the Muslim Brotherhood terrorists. Bro, why do you think that someone like Abdel Fattah el-Sisi or the fucking monarchs over in the Gulf, the Bani Fatma, the fucking guy who has no problem with mass murdering all over the region is like, yeah, actually, they have a really good understanding of extremism. You guys all shed your little tears over Sudan and use it as a means to attack leftists when you don't even have the most basic conception of anything happening in the entire Middle East. Neither of these people would ever dare to talk about the Emirati counter-revolution, and that's what would get this idiot cancelled. Not talking about Israel and going, yummy, yummy, Israel slop for everyone.
So not here.
British people, UK people, you are getting some of the most dangerous immigrants in the world. Not all immigrants, but you're getting some of the most dangerous people.
Dangerous how?
Because they're coming in the UK, setting it as a base to create essentially media to destabilize the Middle East. Right? It's dangerous because of the ideas being promoted. Here they can thrive because you have democracy and freedom of speech. That's great. But these ideas cannot thrive in the UAE, in Saudi Arabia, in some of these stable countries. And so you're getting the most...
They are dictatorships. They are brutal, bloody dictatorships who kill their own people. Oh my God, you sit here and talk shit about Hamas. You do not care about anything. These people are the biggest joke going. And also, by the way, this literally sounds like Emirati line. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Let's just compare what he's saying to this. This is an Emirati government official. I think it's Abdullah bin Zayed.
Ridiculous.
My name is Bonabox, and I'm an ardent supporter of the global woke struggle against all collaborators. And he's disgusting. Thank you, Nixon's love child. Thanks for being a 5-month member.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I love this statement as well. I love this statement. And the reason I am so enamored and interested by this comment is because he goes, let me tell you in English. And they have translators there. So he knows that it doesn't matter if he talks in Arabic. They'll understand it. But he's like, I am Arab. I have to make clear to you that it's okay to kill everyone. Like, this guy is sat here telling you why it is okay to be brutal, bloody dictatorships.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
That's it. Listen to how he talks. And by the way, there's a really good paper about this called Golden Boys, Bros and Barbecues, Gendered Occidentalism and the Shaping of US Policy in the Middle East. It's about Yusuf Al-Otaiba, who is the UAE's ambassador to Washington. And it's about how he talks with a smattering of Arabic in traditional dress. And so he's viewed as like a really legitimate, awesome guy that's like, someone who's kind of like a lad, but also knows and understands the Middle East. Naz Daily, you're all saying paid by Israel. To me, his rhetoric is genuinely almost the exact same as the Emirati guy. Conclusion. Freedom of speech is good, but you should only be allowed to live in a country with free speech if you agree with the regime, because ideas are dangerous. Exactly. That's what these countries believe. Someone explained it to me like this, that you should be allowed to have personal freedom to kind of do whatever you want in your life, but then aside from that, you're not allowed to do anything in public life. You're not allowed to do any activism. And by the way, these are the same people who moan over fucking China and how authoritarian it is. But yeah, it's the same thing, Chris. They really go hand in hand. To an extent, yes, they definitely do go hand in hand, and both propagandas profit off each other. But what I will say that is kind of interesting about Emirati propaganda is it's much more focused on the Muslim Brotherhood. You will hear a lot of pro-Israel shills talk about it, but they need to focus on the Muslim Brotherhood specifically because they can't focus on Islam generally because the UAE still maintains some kind of Islam. Can you repeat the name of the book? I'll just link it. It's not a book, it's a paper that you should be able to get. It's quite easy to read, it's very short. My friend sent it to me. But yeah, he sounds exactly like an Emirati official. But, you know, great guy to have on your podcast.
The biggest destabilizing forces to live in the UK and try to destabilize the
And the
Middle East.
ideas are what?
Well,
Sharia?
Well, the ideas are like, first of all, like Israel and Palestine, okay? There should be no peace with Israelis. There should be one state. We should continue the fight, continue the resistance. What resistance? 80% to 90% of the Palestinians just want to live in peace.
Sure.
And they do not mind having an Israeli state next to them. The
problem with that is that Israel doesn't want that. There is, by the way, every time, how do you frame an argument where Israel got 78% of the land and Palestinians wanted 22% and they weren't allowed it? Like, it's insane.
Us were suffering while somebody's sitting in London or Qatar and telling us that you must continue the resistance. What if we just want to live in peace? So this is one of the ideas that affects me deeply.
Right, it's really going well in the West Bank, right, isn't it? It's really going well in the West Bank where they have a full-on collaborationist structure over there who do basically Israel's bidding, where they crack down on protesters, people throwing stones for Israel, by the way. They share security information. That's going well for making peace in the Middle East, isn't it? It's definitely not a problem that there are a vast amount of Jewish extremists within Israel who have power in the government that genuinely believe that God gave them the right to all of Palestine, and that if they don't settle Palestinian land, they are going against God's will. No, but the problem is the Muslim Brotherhood. Thanks, Mr. Daly.
Deeply, and you have many other ideas by God knows how many.
And we've let that happen. UK's
you let it happen under the guise of freedom of speech, which is great. Freedom of speech is great. Here's the way I think. I think democracy works. It's amazing. We love democracy. I mean, Israel has democracy too.
We love democracy, but here's my Emirati talking points. Yay!
It works unless there is a force that is more powerful than democracy. What is more powerful than democracy and rule of law? Religion. Mm-hmm. So if your religion is more important to you than rule of law and democracy, which is the case for many of the Muslim Brotherhood people, then that is dangerous. And you notice
But that is literally the opposite of what Morsi said in Egypt. Morsi literally resigned from the Muslim Brotherhood to become... And by the way, I would highly recommend that if you're actually interested in democracy and Islam, there's a great chapter which is really late in the book of Carlo Invenizia Chetti's book, which is What is Christian Democracy? The Catholic Church was a far stronger body that may have actually had the ability to stand up to modernization and democracy. Islam cannot do that. It is not a centralized body. It just does not possess the same abilities.
Every time we introduce democracy in the Middle East, the first person to win is Muslim Brotherhood or an Islamic extremist person.
What is wrong with the Muslim Brotherhood winning? I would love to hear your explanation. Not everyone wants that, but they won free and fair elections. They did not just go into authoritarianism. And they didn't. But these people tell you, like, just straight up, oh, no, that's the problem. I think if the West wanted to do something that would have objectively been better for the Middle East, if we cared about democracy, we would have helped the Muslim Brotherhood flourish.
It happened in Gaza. It happened in Egypt. If you allow it, it'll happen in Lebanon. If you allow it, it'll happen in the West Bank. So we have to be...
So what? They can't have elections? This is literally... This is Emirati government talking points. This guy is literally just like an Emirati government shill. Like, it's actually amazing. Great to hear from Great to hear the opinions of the ruling class of the Emirates. This message is approved. This Nas Daily message is approved by Mohammed bin Zayed.
Be careful when we say democracy is great, but democracy is great when you believe that is the number one most important thing before religion.
They tore down a dictator who oppressed them for so many years. And then the country that you bootlick, that you love, literally engaged in an authoritarian coup there. It is unbelievable that people treat this guy, that just because he is a Palestinian, he is somehow like a reputable-ish source on Palestine. It is truly amazing. Let's listen to his meeting with Destiny.
Exactly you sound like.
Okay.
Because I listened to you for 4 hours.
Oh, geez, on which thing? Oh, yeah, okay, God, yeah.
I listened to that guy, Norman Finkelstein,
Yeah,
who's ridiculous.
yeah. That was a painful conversation.
That was
guy's-
really painful.
Yeah, that guy's insane. Yeah.
That guy kept like personal attacks.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
impressive you never personally attacked at all.
Thanks, yeah.
How
Thank you.
come?
That's a very deep question, okay? It's a long
Really?
story, yeah. There's, without getting too deep into it, it's just really funny. When I started getting into online politics, like 2016, 2018, I have like a gaming background, pro gaming, so I was like a really brutal, like, fuck you, you're a dumb fuck, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. But then over the years, like, I try to like tone it back a lot because I feel like it probably looks bad.
Thank you, alleged sex offender N-word man.
And it's hard to like convince people to listen to if you're screaming at them. But yeah, now my fan base complains a lot when I go into these conversations because I'll have people like Finkelstein. Like if it would have been like 5 years ago and Finkelstein starts screaming at me, I'm gonna start screaming at him like
Yeah.
you're a fucking
And you
idiot.
didn't?
Blah, blah, blah. No, yeah. So I just kind of chill. And then the idea is I
To
hope.
be fair, like during that debate, he did look so out of his depth in comparison to Maureen Rabbani and Finkelstein, and obviously Benny Morris as well. But, you know.
That like this is supposed to be like the best scholar and he's just screaming at me for 4 hours, so I hope you see it's like a fucking joke. That's like the goal. So
And it
yeah.
really worked.
I hope so, yeah.
It worked on me. I'm a viewer, and I was like, wow, this guy just sat there, just personal attacks, and he thinks he knows everything. He talks like a freaking turtle, one word at a minute, and whatever he says has no value. I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
It's not the Emirati government line. Like, genuinely, Naz Daily, you guys be thinking that he's an Israel, that he's like an Israel guy. This is Emirati shill master number 2. And also, why does he keep changing his shirt? What is with the 42% life thing?
You can put this on the internet.
Yeah.
I have never seen anybody so gung-ho on like the one word that you used in your book 50 years ago. And why did you say that one? Like, why is that an argument?
Yeah.
Sorry, why am I getting angry? And
No,
this
it's
is-
frustrating, and it's true because because all these guys will always argue like, oh, you don't know the context, you don't know the nuance, you don't know whatever,
Give me a
and it's like, but
break.
this guy's literally like one sentence, and he's asking the guy who wrote it. He's trying to tell him what he meant. He's like, bro, like we don't have to think about the story. Like this is the author. Like he wrote this. You
Yes.
don't have to like guess what he meant. Like, yeah, it's wild. It's so stupid.
Even
yeah.
Lex, I think, was like, yo, like, let's just move on. This is stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. Yeah.
All right, I want my girlfriend to come. Asia?
Hello?
Come to the front of the house. I want you to meet Destiny.
No, Naz Daily, no, no, no! Don't bring your girlfriend near Destiny. No, 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 no!
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right there.
I don't
Sounds really
fanboy this
ominous.
much. I'm not fanboying over Destiny. It's so weird.
You're probably on the other side.
But that's the power. Yeah, that's the power of the
Lonerbox didn't even get the chance to meet him. That is actually so sad.
podcast. It's like when you literally listen to a podcast for 4 hours.
I feel like you really know someone.
I'll do audio podcast. How about that? Audio. Audio only. Video.
When are you coming on here? Video or nothing? Tomorrow? Video or nothing. That's the podcast negotiation. We're getting it on camera.
Bro, Alan wants to get me in big trouble. I don't get you in trouble. This is my girlfriend. Have you met her? Have you met her? We put him in the corner, so.
No, 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 no.
Nice picture.
It could be an IOF situation. I don't know. We'll have to or maybe it's an Emirati situation. But keep her away from Destiny, mate. No, his t-shirt is different. In this one, he's wearing the 43% life t-shirt. In that one, he's wearing the 42%. I don't know why. I'm not really sure. Someone will have to tell me one day. Right, that's enough of Naz Daily madness. Also, I need to kind of reposition some shit. Hold on. I also just need to blow my nose, so one. Okay, right, let's do Ethan Klein's Yellow Peril Madness. This is genuinely one of my favorite genres that's going on at the moment, which is, if you don't know what the Yellow Peril was, the Yellow Peril was basically something that was like huge anxiety towards China, largely from the UK, is where it began. I believe. I'm sure it was much wider. And basically, it revolved around an anxiety that was produced in Britain from us giving too much opium to China and then panicking that Chinese people were running opium shops in the UK. And one of the things it produced was this great character called Fu Manchu, who was like this evil Asian man that wanted to take over the world. Let's have a look at him. These aren't even the most evil-looking Fu Manchus that I can find. This guy, he doesn't look as evil as I thought he might. Here's Dr. Fu Manchu. He's amazing. But I think that Ethan Klein sits at home every day watching Dr. Fu Manchu videos and being like, this is just like Hassan in China. This is just like Hassan in China. But yeah, because, okay, look, undeniably, China is an authoritarian country, and there are critiques to be made of it.
Let's end it.
But we had this very racist moment that was put together by Content Crash Out, enemy of Ethan Klein. Do you denounce him?
And also, I want to show the Hassan doing the. I have to show him singing.
I've got to skip this because I think it's copyright.
Like Maoist.
Was that?
He's with a bunch of CCP people. The Chinese government definitely honeypotted the fuck out of him. He's surrounded by like
Yeah, also, by the way, using the term honeypot because it's used against you when, like, that is an odd aspect of birthright. Like, genuinely sending you to meet attractive Israeli soldiers so you develop feelings and fear towards them. But this part is just so incredibly racist, assuming that everyone here, because they're Asian, is a CCP honeypot.
CCP agents who are all like young, beautiful women at all times. It's crazy business. But
Like
anyway.
this girl right here?
Yeah.
No. That's Carolyn Kwan, Austin's girlfriend.
Doesn't look like her. Oh, that is right. That is. See, this is their glorious CCP.
To be fair, this woman is Canadian, so maybe we do actually need to be having a conversation about her and what she's up to. When did he do cultural Marxism-style anti-Semitism bigotry? But yeah, what's the name of the song? Red Sun in the Sky by Mao. They're also amazed that Hassan knows the lyrics. He doesn't. There is literally just a version on YouTube that has phonetic pronunciation on it.
Glory to the fucking Chinese Communist Party.
I live in New York. I was raised in the DMV in Maryland. I'm Vietnamese and white ethnically. Do you guys see that thing where Ethan Klein was saying that all the girls in the group for the China trip were honeypot Chinese spies? And we're there to like honeypot Hassan or like the men in the group, and that we're all Chinese spies. And I'm just like, bro, the most brain dead shit I've ever seen in my life. And it's like almost every woman in the group is American. That's insane. Yes, so deranged, so racist. I'm not even Chinese. Like, I'm Vietnamese, and I'm half white. And Caroline's half white too. And we're all American. So it's par for the course. Yeah, no one is surprised he said it, but I think
it is amazing that Ethan Klein is just the most racist guy.
Like, what?
Uh-oh, Hassan Piker announced him. The lack of... Please may we have a front double bicep. Nope, there'll be no front double bicep today, I'm afraid. You got to check the Instagram for that.
Made everyone just be like, bruh. It's like so... It's just so blatantly racist.
Let's end it.
No. And
yeah, I don't know whether to watch... We won't watch all of it, but we'll watch some of it. He had Egg Lady on his podcast.
welcome,
And it's also amazing because what he talked about is not true.
everybody, back to another H3 VOD coming at you, another EXP. joined today by a longtime friend of the show. We love her. You know her. She's finally here. It's girl with a microphone.
Turn up the mic.
Kate.
Hi, everyone.
Once upon a time, it was Post Malone. Now it's girl with microphone.
If you want to use her government name. And so, Kate, you prepared a really interesting presentation for us that has to do with Hassan's recent tour of China. Is that correct?
Yes. There was a lot to talk about related to that, but as a gay woman, as a queer person in general, who has been fighting for the gays and the theys since I came out in high school, I felt like he was stepping into something he doesn't know anything about.
It's also amazing because, by the way, neither of them know or understand, like, why the Chinese government would actually be doing this kind of stuff. Like, what it actually pertains to, like, why they would not be interested in queer activism, like organized queer activism.
And it felt like my people in China were being used as like a pawn or a prop for his narrative. And so that really chapped my ass. And so I started looking into it more to see what the actual truth is about the LGBTQ experience in China.
Now, this whole thing got sparked, I remember, because Hassan was streaming from China, and there's a clip of someone's like, hey, did you hear that, like, China just shut down the biggest gay dating app? He's like, they wouldn't do that. That's bullshit. You just buying into propaganda. And it was, of course, true.
It also happened whilst he was streaming, which is the amazing part of it.
This is what he hears. Yeah, this is Hassan singing his ode to Mao. I don't know if you saw this part.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how does he know that? Why does he know that?
That's my question, man. What the hell?
When did he learn that? On the plane over?
That's it.
Also, do you know when they were all like freaking out about the Little Red Book? Did you know that the Little Red Book used to be given as a way for people to learn Chinese? Because apparently it's really simple and repetitive. That like in the 70s, it wasn't just like a left-wing communist fantasy and like people who read through it. There's a Jean-Luc Godard film about it called something, and I've seen it and I didn't like it. Well, I didn't hate it, but yeah.
That's what he sings in the shower, bro. He fantasizes about starving 50 million people. Okay, legend. Weird fantasy.
Queen shit.
He also, every time he mentions Mao, he has to say he starved 50 million people, which, you know, it may have been that many, but it's also between 15 and 55 million, I believe. And it was predominantly the fault of, like, Maoist policies. But simultaneously, it was not the same as like an enforced starvation that they just did because they wanted to starve tons of people. Although apparently Mao did say to, how have I forgotten his name? Pol Pot. He said to Pol Pot, he was like, "Oh, I like what you've done, like the moving everyone out of the cities and back to like agrarian life." And he was like, "Could we do that too?" And one of his advisors was like, "No, we cannot do that too." And he went, "Yeah, probably not."
Queen shit.
All right, well, let's go ahead. You have a presentation. Let's jump in.
Yeah. So I want to say up front, because obviously I know this is going to be misconstrued in a million different ways. Every country has its issues, right? Like, I don't think that any country has to be inherently evil. We all know that America right now has a lot of issues pertaining to the LGBTQ community. But it's the lying that bothers me. That is the piece. The thrust of my criticism is
he's
his knee-jerk exactly. His Hassan's knee-jerk reaction is to...
The thrust of this piece is he's not so interested in the yellow peril as you are. Like, there are many things to say about China's government being authoritarian, but I believe that the point that Hassan has actually made when I've listened to him is him going, yes, it is authoritarianism, and I think free speech in America is a good thing. However, they also extend, you know, rights, they extend many social benefits to people. In America, we are regressing massively, but we're not getting any extended, like, social benefits. I mean, I saw that Rich Lux made a video. I saw that Reddit post, and there are some seemingly very questionable things. that person is claiming. But it was also posted in the Destiny Reddit, so who knows what the truth to all of that is. But realistically, I don't think Hassan is that person. I think he should be criticized for that kind of stuff. But I think that also these people are fans of Destiny, you know?
Lie about shit he doesn't know about, which he calls doing journalism. And as a writer, that really bothers me. So here's my presentation. Why the fuck you lying, Hassan?
That's such
Piker?
a good, timely, pertinent question, Zach.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Why won't anyone work with us anymore?
That's literally Hassan's theme song. I love it.
Exactly. I'm also critical of his approach to leftism, I have to say, which seems to be that we can only focus on like the straight white guy poor people and not the rest of the working class, which is actually a very centrist thing to say. So I just need to say that I think that there's a better way to be leftist. So anyway.
It's also a very interesting comment because these are the people who don't really care about Palestine, like, at all, and think that people have been really problematic on Palestine because they've spoken about it so much, you know?
During Hassan's trip, there were 2 clips from 2 separate streams. He talked about this twice with confidence for no reason, in which he's basically, whether he means to or not, is he's sweeping for the Chinese government's actions against the LGBTQ community. And the good news is him being this dishonest so openly gave me the chance to learn a lot more about how fucked up things are right now for queer people in China and how we can support them.
By the way, just looking at the amount of like actual writing on this, there are some articles about it, but seemingly there's not like a huge amount, and it's largely about visibility politics of like LGBTQ plus people. Like I looked into some of the academic stuff about it all, but yeah, it's of course, like, it's an authoritarian government, and some of these steps are being undertaken are inappropriate, but Hassan also said that. Like, Hassan, by the way, Hassan also said this multiple times.
And the spoiler alert here is the answer is not to watch Hassan's stream and learn that everything is okay, which is what he says. He literally says,
China rules.
Watch this stream.
America bad,
watch
China
this stream
good.
and you'll know.
Well, I mean, in terms of certain things, America is definitely worse. China did do bad things as well, though. China still does bad things.
What is where does that come from? Because I feel like most homophobia in America is rooted in religion, but China is mostly agnostic country, I'm assuming, as communists.
Well, there is still like this traditionalism that's specifically been spreading from the government. Specifically, what I've seen is from like 2021. For some reason, the president has really pushed this like morality clampdown. And so most of the stuff that I found was from like COVID era forward has been.
But it's also so interesting that neither people have like the ability to think about why an authoritarian government might not do this. Like, might not like gay activism, especially organized LGBTQ plus activism. And it's obviously because there's a very revolutionary potential in that kind of thing. And why would you like want that as being like a dictatorial regime? They don't care specifically that much about gay people. Seemingly, from what I can understand, it's much more of a policy of you do it privately and you don't do activism around it. And so the Chinese government are like, no, we're going to keep a handle on this, in the same way that one of the reasons that like an authoritarian country in the Middle East doesn't want to take huge swathes of Palestinians is because it would destabilize them, in the sense of like, first of all, they would have abandoned the Palestinian cause, which would have upset them. And then there would also be a major amount of new people who were against the government for having betrayed the Palestinian cause as well. I did actually find something funny though, which was from an article which I was looking at. Here we go. The Republican era, 1911, saw the introduction of Western scientific sexology into the new Republican state and the end of pre-modern cut sleeve tradition. So this is talking about like how there was a lot of gay fiction in China about the emperor, and they started to move towards classifying it as like something that was unacceptable. Yeah, here you go. By the 1930s, a Chinese equivalent of homosexuality Tongjingai, literally same-sex love came into being. Sexuality came under increasing regulation, and sexual practices such as adultery, masturbation, gooning, prostitution, and homosexuality were condemned as shameless and abnormal. See why I've noted it? They condemned gooning. During the Maoist era, homosexuality was seen as feudal and disappeared from public discourse. In 1950, the Maoist state encoded monogamous heterosexual marriage and outlawed polygamy and arranged marriages. The 1950 marriage law left little room for non-normative sexualities. Against this background, homosexuality became pathologized, silenced, and criminalized. People who engaged in homoerotic practices could be charged for xinjiang, sodomy, or lumangju. It's about controlling the avenues of activism. If you want gay rights, you do what you do. If you want any rights, you join the CPC and advocate for it their way. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that is exactly what they want. Yes, that is a very good explanation of it. Without addressing any of the worst shit your own country is doing is what Americans love to do every second they breathe. By the way, also Hassan like talked about this. It's amazing. But they did condemn gooning, you know? And this is obviously not a great thing. But largely, I think it's about, like, basically keeping, like, gay life in a specific way, which is basically ensuring that they are just sort of middle class and they are happy with what they get, rather than sort of arguing in favor of, like, a complete and utter revolution, you know? Farzi am kheli badast.
It's gotten worse, it sounds like, in modern era.
Yeah. Yeah, because homosexuality was decriminalized in the 90s, and so that's what Hassan will talk about.
Which is great. I mean, that's way ahead of its time, yeah.
Yeah, totally. But since like 2020, 2021, all kinds of stuff has been happening. So yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Keep our country gay. I haven't heard that one in a minute.
All right,
Trump is
so
with us.
the first clip is Hassan.
Gooning is a problem in porn-obsessed countries and cultures. Yes, I do think gooning is actually a problem, in the sense of too many people watch, like, a wildly violent porn, and that porn just keeps getting worse and worse, like, the more addicted you become, for some people. Not necessarily everyone. I've seen an argument by Mari Ruti that's like, she's not, like, fully against it because she's, like, queer and non-conformist pornography exist, but, like, ultimately, you know, it does have its major issues. They banned choking porn in the UK, didn't they?
I'm talking about the apps that have been taken off of Apple in China.
Why China blocked gay dating apps? I don't think that's true. I think you saw that on Twitter. I don't know if that's true. Chatter, this is exactly what I mean. If you get your notes from Twitter, which, by the way, like you'll see, we're about to go to Chengdu. What's really funny about this is, like, China's gay as hell.
And why wouldn't it be? Because it's a great avenue for making money. It's kind of what Homo Zion talks about. That, like, kind of the way in which gay activism has gone has been to largely just be happy with things like same-sex marriage, and unfortunately has not been, not always been as in favor of, you know, types of queerness that are not as accepted right now, particularly being trans.
What's like, just watch the stream.
Nobody's saying that gay people don't exist in China.
Exactly.
Like, what a stupid retort.
Just watch.
I don't know what gay people are up to in China.
This stream and you will see. And I said that this rhetoric is so Hassan coded because first he immediately denies things without having any information.
Default is protect China.
Yeah, default is protect the narrative. And then he discredits the source. He says, don't get all of your notes from Twitter. Meanwhile,
despite the fact,
all Twitter.
That's it. Every time he's streaming, he's got like 100 Twitter tabs open. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
To be fair, Twitter is a great place to find videos.
And
gooning is the modern opiate of the masses. Indeed.
Then it's, you know, even if it did happen, it wasn't that bad. My gay friend is on the apps. And then eventually in this clip, he'll say, well, that's just Apple. And so even if it was bad,
Yeah.
it's the West's fault somehow, you know?
Which is like, he's smart. Let's finish the clip before I get too triggered here already this early.
The yellow peril madness has placed Ethan in a place where all he can do is become more and more angry about Hassan being in China.
We'll see.
You will see gay people, guys.
Austin's been on the apps. That's so funny. There is like, I mean, it's true. Apple removes Chinese gay dating apps on government order. Okay, but that's Apple.
Okay, but that's Apple. You literally just read the headline.
Hasn't read anything, and watch how he just like
the headline
slides
says
by what they say about the queer people being worried about this.
The headline that he just read says to comply with government order, and he's like, "No, that was Apple's decision." The fuck?
By the way, also, all of these articles are kind of shit. Like, there's nothing on them, unfortunately. It doesn't really tell you much about it. It just says they're banned and that some gay activists are worried by it.
Yeah.
Please.
Why would Apple care if there was gay dating apps in China?
Someone said it's to do with privacy policy. I actually don't know.
Dumbass, weirdo, freak,
sure
loser, dumb, freak, weirdo, selfish. I mean, what the hell? All right, enough. Thank you.
Okay, but that's Apple.
That's Apple. That's a
Blued
good sound
and
drop.
Finka, two of China's most popular gay dating apps, suddenly disappeared from Apple's Chinese app store, fanning fears among LGBTQ people. Dude.
Just
That's
slides
Apple.
past that, fanning the fears.
Dude.
It is utterly
Yeah.
Stupid.
Thanks for becoming a member, Charlie Kelly. 4086. Welcome to level 1. I know you're already a member. Most bad things are the West's fault. No. We never did anything to China. We just gave them opium, and they loved the damn opium. Who doesn't like damn opium? It's good for you.
Bro, what? Gay people are upset?
Yeah.
Bro, shut up.
Bro, I met a gay dude yesterday. Didn't you see on stream?
Wait, you're a 20-year-old member? Or
20-month member? That's his new thing.
Fuck
Is like,
you.
you
Yeah.
fucking supporter, you scumbag supporter. Yeah.
Place.
Dude.
Place.
Yeah, so he says that that's Apple. As you said, not a decision that Apple made. Of course, they were following a government order.
Right there.
And if the other, he also might mean, oh, that's Apple. They're like not a big deal in China. It's mostly Huawei, which he also talks about. But nearly a quarter of smartphone users in China use Apple.
That is.
Wow, this is amazing to learn. China is, by the way, also just to think about this. China is such an amazing country in terms of its scale and size and its history. Like, I honestly, the fact that 24% of the country is apparently iOS users, and that's 200 million people, nearly the population of America. Wow.
Is a lot.
200 million people.
There it is.
And something that you won't hear Hassan actually quote is gay people who said, members of the LGBT community expressed concerns about the removal of Blued and Finka, those are the names of the two apps, saying, I hope those heterosexual policymakers can understand that love is rare. It's not something...
Thanks for the membership, Marcus Ryan. Something that I am really, really also interested in is, if anyone is gay in here, what is your... obviously, you know, I need to find out who in my audience is gay. No reason. But, sorry. But the reason that I'm asking is because what do you think of, like, Grindr and stuff? Like, what do you think of Grindr and all this stuff? Like, do you think Grindr is a good thing or a bad thing? And I'm not, like, trying to advocate for, you know, the banning the app. But, like, I've heard not great things about Grindr. Like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, it seems like a pretty problematic app in some ways. Looking for cum to cuzzle. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm asking. Well, it's in the name, isn't it? Great place to find submissive Republican men. Yeah, for research purposes. I'm on Grindr to win friends. I just finished reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I want to put it to work on Grindr. Hopefully I'm going to make some new friends on there. Shut up, Grindr, I use a liquefier. They changed the app so it's unbearable to use without paying. You get loads of ads. You have to watch Nas Daily Slop on Grindr.
Shameful or unspeakable.
What a beautiful
That's
statement.
beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Love is rare.
Also, yeah, and it's also not just Apple at all, because Grindr, the gayest and biggest app in the world, was removed from all app stores in 2022.
Oh.
Like, I don't think you should police people's sexuality and stuff. I don't think you should, and I don't think you should ban people from using an app if they want to, but I don't hear great things about Grindr. I'm not going to lie. Grindr is one of the few social apps that lets you immediately chat with people for better or worse. Very interesting. Yeah, I heard people send each other like kind of like folders of their nudie pickies on there. The gayest app in the world. No, the gayest app in the world is YouTube.
So this is a continuation of some kind of policy going on.
Yeah, so 0% of Chinese people can access Grindr, which is almost 1 billion smartphone users and growing every day.
Wow.
Nah, but Hassan met a dude who he thinks might have been gay by his mannerisms. So it's all good.
So much gay shit happening in China.
All right, Hassan, finish it off. You land this plane.
Wait, this happened yesterday?
Why are we still talking about it, dude?
Why is he so amused?
Okay, I'm
Dude,
gonna go.
this is from
I'm gonna
yesterday.
go ask. I'm gonna go ask people if it's like still available on Huawei. Because
why are you
guess
laughing?
what?
Okay, I'm gonna chill.
But now you can see he's reading.
Did any of you see like the video of Healer doing the dance to the song that's like, I wake in the morning and I step outside and I think to myself. Did any of you see her doing that? Because it was like the least sourceless thing. And then the other guy, Rich Lux, was without source as well. Hassan was wrong about the gay dating app getting banned. Yeah, and also, by the way, this stream is, you can literally watch this this thing.
In chat trying to like figure out what is going on.
Yeah.
He kind of like stutters for a while.
But like, why not be like, oh shit, I might be wrong?
Yeah.
He's just like,
Or
Wouldn't
just,
that be a
I mean,
beautiful
I
thing?
understand that he wants China to win because it's like his theory that
He's being paid.
you know. But
in my opinion.
I mean, that would
He's being paid and wants China to win. I'm not going to lie. What incentive does Hassan have to take Chinese government money to say that China didn't ban gay dating apps? And what does China winning mean? Like, China probably will win. Like, in the sense of China is not as idiotic as America is in terms of its foreign policy or anything like that. It just isn't. And, like, what does it mean if China wins? Like, that we become more authoritarian? I already feel that, you know, for all of these people who worry about China's policies, our countries have always been very authoritarian, and they are becoming increasingly authoritarian, especially in the case of America. I mean, the UK is sliding that way as well. But, yeah, I mean, like, arguably China is winning in many other ways, but authoritarianism and right-wing extremism are winning all across Europe.
the answer, because I
If
was
you-
gonna ask why. Why do you need to just take it all up your butt? You know, like everything.
All up
that-
your butt? Damn.
All straight up the butt, for sure.
Everything that they're throwing his way is just like, yep.
Right up there, huh?
Yeah, right up
So-
there.
If you watch his China tour, and there's a lot of it, but the entire time he's surrounded by government.
Ethan's been watching his China tour, and it's just Fu Manchu. It's just Fu Manchu videos. Oh, I've searched Fu Manchu, and it's Ethan's just watching this. Christopher Lee and the Snake Fit. Do you think that this is what he's watching? That's a CCP honeypot over there. And this is Ethan being taken up for when he speaks up in China for the gay dating apps.
Official.
Yeah, where does Teddy Fresh produce their merch? I don't know. Does husband and wife, both husband and wife are gross about queer dynamics, but yeah. Yeah, no grinder equals no gay rights. Westerners judging other countries and their people by their own standard and amenities. What is new? Yeah, I mean, also, like, by the way, you know what's funny is, I'll show you the clip because it's probably worth watching now. There is a point at which a chatter says to Hassan, oh, so China, it feels to me that watching your stream, China is better than America. And he goes, no.
Government sending aircraft carriers into the Caribbean. And you're over here being like, well, you know. I feel like China is more accepting than America, not gonna lie. No.
Literally, they made the 47-minute video about apparently how he's ignoring, like, gay people in China. And then there's just him going, no, I think that you need to talk about China. But listen to what he says.
I wouldn't say that. Like, I think that there are, as it stands currently, and this might change any moment, just like with free speech, it might change any moment, considering that the American government is actively working to undermine a lot of these aspects. But as far as like social liberties goes, no, America has more social liberties on that front for sure.
Literally, he says America has social liberties, like more. I don't understand the point. I don't understand the point of their insanity. Like, don't like Hassan, do like Hassan, do as you please. Like, I don't care. I'm not Hassan's #1 defender. It's just funny watching the yellow peril madness of Ethan Klein. Like, where his just deranged obsession with China bad blinds him to even listening to what Hassan has actually said. Because that girl with the microphone made a PowerPoint.
They do, partially because of free speech. Ironically enough, you get to have that when you are the hegemonic superpower that has dominated the planet. The real test is when your hegemony is waning.
I really love the, like, sort of Hassan Arbi outrage industrial complex. Like, that it's just like this whole crop of people whose entire life is just dedicated to Hassan evil, Hassan bad, Hassan this, and Hassan doing that. And they're like, he's fake leftist, so left bad.
He's on official state tours. He's singing Maoist propaganda songs. They're giving him gifts.
Also, by the way, why would, like, the Chinese government, since, like, de-Maoification, that occurred many years ago. Like, yeah, it's hard to get rid of Mao because, you know, whatever you feel about and all of the death that was caused as a result of, you know, his policies, he was a major figure in taking China out of being humiliated by foreign colonial powers. I mean, I had a discussion with Ivan about this literally on TikTok where he was talking to me, you know, I know bits and pieces, but about, like, you know, all of the things about, like, that were done to them by the Japanese, the opium humiliation. Adam Tooze claims that apparently China wanted to, no, not Adam Tooze. Adam Curtis claims that China wanted to humiliate Western society by saying, by subjugating us with cheap plastic goods. But it's just, like, crazy. And, like, by the way, I think people should go to China. China is, like, an unbelievable place. Like, I think you should talk about its issues, and you very clearly just saw Hassan doing that and saying, actually, it does have problems that are worse than America, you know? Does H3 employ LGBTQ people in their Chinese clothing factories?
This is the theme song, bro. Like, there's no way that if they're not paying him,
then he's a sucker.
He's a sucker,
and then better negotiate.
They're deeply involved with whatever tour he's going on and watching every single broadcast he puts out to make sure he stays in line, right? He went to Tiananmen Square and they they detained him because he was
they wanted to look at his phone.
He showed on his phone a picture of him on, like, the Xi or Mao's face, I forget who.
Xi.
And someone saw it and they
Xi Jinping.
detained him and they're like, you need to give us your phone. We'll look through it. So
sounds like a perfect society to me.
Yep. No problem.
It's also kind of funny because, like, he literally in the West Bank participated in the system that is now arresting Palestinians for doing that, like having shit on their phones. Obviously, when she was doing it, phones wouldn't have been as prominent. Like, there was a Palestinian who was arrested because on October the 7th, she uploaded a video of herself like doing a dance, and it was before she actually knew anything about anything to do with about October the 7th. She just got arrested for it. And there have been multiple people who've been arrested for literally just showing solidarity with Gaza. But like Hila directly participated into going into the West Bank and arresting Palestinians for most likely non-violent activism. I am sorry, say what you want, but the vast majority of people arrested by Israel are people who are arrested for doing almost nothing. Like, Israel is constantly arresting and detaining Palestinians for literally just doing activism.
Whatsoever, we shouldn't question them at all. That's
Dude,
totally fine.
well, it just goes to show you, like,
no problem here.
Listen, Hassan is an authoritarian. He wants a single state. He doesn't believe in civil liberties. He doesn't. He believes in.
He literally said in the videos that you guys are talking about, oh, I think it's good that America has free speech, and I like the value of free speech.
Obedience to one central government. So when gay people are being discriminated against, to him, he obviously doesn't care about it. I mean, look how flippant he is about it, because, you know, whatever the government
That is a funny photo of him just sort of like smiling.
Says is what it is. There's no questioning it, right? And
yeah, he sees it as a distraction.
Right.
From the main goal.
And also, I just think you need to recognize she was just doing her job, actually. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, she was just following orders. I mean, it's not ended here. This guy is crazy. He was like going after Taylor Lorenz for saying she liked working in retail at Christmas. I will say there are two sides to working in retail at Christmas. When you don't work there all the time, it's not actually that bad. Like, I've worked in retail 2 different times. So I worked when I was 16 to 18, I worked in retail. And I used to just work on Saturdays because obviously I was at school and it was just like, you know, having a job. But I went all the time. I was good at my job and I got a bronze star for being great. But yeah, so anyway, I worked there and it was kind of, sometimes it was nice. I would say the only annoyance is when it consistently plays like the Christmas music over and over again. The amount of times I heard the power of love, the voice from above was crazy. But yeah, I you know, I can see why someone would like that or wouldn't hate that. But when you're shelf stacking, oh my God, it is abysmal. Just like them being like, right, you got to get out so much stuff.
Right.
Which I think is just stupid. Stupid approach to leftism, in my opinion, as a gay leftist myself.
You are not leftist, by the way. I think also, I've been thinking about whether I do actually want to do a debate with Lonerbox, but I just have to ask, like, what any of these people mean by being leftists. Because, like, I don't think as leftists, in any capacity, you should advocate for a state like Israel. Like, I don't think you should sit there and pretend like China is perfect. I don't think that you should sit and call any nation state perfect. I think that most of the theory that developed throughout the 20th century that is the most convincing on the concept of nations being an invention rather than something that is like this immutable thing is far more convincing than the works of people like Anthony Smith, if any of you know who that is, who is like, actually, all nations have this, like, this like sort of piece within them that's like historical. He calls them like the ethne and that they're like pre-modern. And it's just like, we invented modern nation states and I think we should do away with them. Truly, the left starts at anti-capitalism. Capitalism skeptic.
You know?
Yeah.
I think debate is pointless when you just try and use fact. I think ultimately.
Well,
I didn't work at M&S. I don't know if I won't say where I worked, but yeah.
Well, that does seem like you are speaking from a place of some authority. Although, have you considered that Hassan is a white man?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Ambiguously
and I forgot
white,
that he streamed there, yeah.
He's sometimes
and he
white.
streamed from China.
He actually was in China.
Hassan Piker is a Turkman who has never had bacon and eggs for breakfast. He prefers to have shakshuka.
What have you done? He actually thought about going to Gaza, so.
So
Look it up.
true.
All right, back to you,
I love how that's still a joke to them.
Hassan.
I'm
gonna
gonna
let
go
it
ask
play.
him
I'm not gonna freak out. Just gonna let it play.
if it's like still available on Huawei. Because guess what?
He's looking.
Not everything
Someone
you
help
read
me.
in news media is as it seems.
This stuff, I will say, it is just interesting how basically every article is the same.
It's on NBC News. NBC News.
Oh, he doesn't
my
trust
God.
them.
First, it was like, don't get your news on Twitter. Now it's an article. And
Don't get it
now
from
everything
NBC
you read
News.
is news.
Where can we get news from, Hassan?
He's doing
From
the Taylor
Hassan.
Lorenz.
CCP.
Don't believe your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't believe your eyes.
Just
Play the
believe.
fucking clip, Ethan.
Okay, sorry. He's right. He's right.
Like this.
I mean, I will say that obviously the last 2 years have really instilled the problem of like, why are you kind of, would you trust the news? Why did you just put Jewish people in chat? I feel like that's I'm going to look at your channel activity. I feel like I should just block you.
Especially considering that even the likes of Newsweek, for example,
Never finishes that sentence.
Whoa.
those apps are.
Whoa. Where was that going there, buddy?
What?
You were about to make a
Never.
point.
Just doesn't finish it.
Those apps are.
Oh, sorry. Here.
Especially considering that even the likes of Newsweek, for example,
Yeah.
those.
Huh?
This is also a pre-recorded and edited VOD for something very basic. Thought I already banned that person. Yeah, he was just sending very odd messages, I'm going to be frank with you. I don't really know why he just put Jewish people in chat, which is not even what he put. Because it's like that episode of Always Sunny when they're trying to work out what's offensive, you know? That's a funny episode.
Now, obviously, he saw a headline from Newsweek that confirmed the story. And he's like, no, never mind. Never mind that one.
Never mind.
And with a smile and a flippant...
Yeah. I don't think we're going to watch this whole thing, by the way, at all, because it's 50 minutes.
flick of the wrist, he goes, fuck the gays. It's all about
Does he? Did he do that?
China.
Those apps
all
are
about
super fucking popular.
Not anymore.
For the record.
He just got shut down, for the record.
Those apps are super popular, for the record, just so you know.
Wait, but how's that?
Okay, so
has no
the
bearing.
apps, yeah, there maybe are some other apps that are popular, but of the two that are still available on Huawei, I believe only one of them is open, and it's like a light version, so you can't have like the paid features for it. So it's not just Apple that is getting rid of these things by government order. They are also limiting LGBTQ apps in general. He's going to talk about Grindr now, and he completely lies about the ownership of Grindr, why it was sold, and why it's been removed from China. So this one made me really mad.
But it's not.
I am Grindr's #1 defender.
It's the trend, right? Like he understands that.
Yeah.
Like if a group of people is slowly but surely being excluded from society, you shouldn't be concerned about that. Like, what are we talking about, dude?
I mean, Ethan, I feel like we should be much more concerned about, people being exterminated. But over the last few years, you are actually just concerned about Israelis.
Good. The fuck?
But there's gay people in the streets.
It's
Ethan.
true. It's true. They're out. They are here.
He saw his friend hook up with a gay guy.
That's right.
It's totally fine.
That's right. There's gay sex in China. I do believe that.
Yeah, I would not be cool with someone using my sexuality to argue this kind of shit. Like my gay friend.
Yeah, I still don't know why the app was taken down. None of the articles actually explain it. Someone in chat said it's to do with privacy, but I looked through them. But yeah,
Friend is having a blast in China. It's like, okay, that's him being a tourist. He doesn't live the gay experience in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't mean that there's no gay bars or places where gay folks hang out. It's a trend, man. They're clamping down, brother. You know that.
Well,
what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And they are closing down gay bars too. We'll get to that.
Okay, here we go. Laugh again, I dare you.
He's looking for
there.
someone.
I assume. I mean, I might be wrong I might be totally wrong on this, but I assume they might have done it for like data-related reasons.
What?
Like privacy-related reasons.
What?
As far as like, it's kind of like Grindr.
What an insane fucking sweep. He goes, I'm just
that is also not that much of a sweep,
going to assume yes, they did remove it. I've tried to deny it, but I'm clearly wrong. They did it to protect their identities.
They need that.
China has
gay
everybody's
data.
identity. There's no
Yeah,
idea. You know what I mean? Like, this is China. They have your face on fucking scanners when you enter.
You know what's also crazy? This is an increasing thing going on in the United Kingdom as well. Like, where he just goes, this is China. Like, in the UK, we have an increasing amount of facial recognition that is being used at pro-Palestine protests because of the rhetoric spread by people like Ethan, who are like, oh, everyone now hates Jewish people. They all want to harm them. Oh, everyone on the Western left is evil, blah, 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 blah.
To the subway.
Yeah, I think those two apps specifically, it might have been a competition thing between.
Did you hear about the trash discourse BS hit piece? I heard that she was like, they were sort of sending loads of nudes out as well. Seems very odd. Face scanner outside Tesco at the moment. Yeah, I mean, fucking hell. And we also have Palantir who are getting more involved in the NHS. So, like, this kind of stuff, once again, is why it's like kind of yellow peril madness. There are things to critique about China, but just like this obsession and comparing Mao to Hitler is crazy. Like, it genuinely is.
Apple products and Huawei products, but Grindr he gets completely wrong. Grindr was not removed for that stuff, but he's gonna totally step in it. Yeah.
I think Grindr was about to be sold. Grindr was about to be sold to a Chinese company, and then they refused to.
Sure wasn't.
Yeah, see?
So why don't you just check? Why don't you look it up and confirm instead of just sitting there and fucking
Where does
lying?
he get his information?
Twitter.
Literally from chat.
Chat and fucking Chinese propagandists on and leftist propagandists on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like of the bad kind. Not, I love,
Hey.
The tanky variety. The tankies whose fucking brains, this is they think in Maoism. This is what they do at breakfast.
I do like the song that's like Mao Mao, Vietnam brûle, moi je hell Mao Mao, Johnson rigole, moi je vole Mao Mao, la napalm coule, moi je rêve Mao Mao. I like that song.
They go, breakfast, bitch, you wish you had breakfast. Dead ass.
It's very sensitive to the 50 million people who apparently you're so sad died in China.
Chinese peasants. 50 million died, by the way, during the Maoist revolution.
Yeah, 50 million.
Approximately.
They just need to say 50 million over and over again.
She is correct. We tried to buy Grindr and expand it to China, but your Congress blocked the sale because they feared of being outed. Literally.
Oh, you're reading of what chatter. Just look it up, man.
Not true.
Grindr was supposed to be sold to a Chinese company, I'm pretty sure. And the American government literally blocked that deal from happening because they were like, no, too many of our dudes are sucking penises on there. Too many dudes in Congress are sucking penises on there. We can't let the Chinese get backdoor access into this.
What?
This is a real thing that took place.
He's saying.
By the way, they're about to say that this isn't real, but I think it actually is. So here you go. At the time, Reuters, it was unclear whether CFIU's specific concerns were, but the FT says the committee worried the Chinese government could use personal data from the app to blackmail US citizens, which could include US government officials, and as of late, the US has been scrutinizing app developers more heavily in how they handle personal data. So actually, this is, what Hassan is saying is true. So Kunlun originally bought Grindr in 2018, but the Committee of Foreign Investment in the US, CFIUS, reportedly informed Kunlun that its ownership of Grindr was a national security risk. According to a 2019 report, Kunlun did not submit its acquisition of Grindr for CFIUS review, which is perhaps why the committee made the rare request to undo an already completed acquisition report. So they were actually worried about Americans and Republicans doing this.
America's afraid that they're going to be their officials will be blackmailed when they find out that they're on.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a total lie, and then he ends it with, "This is a real thing that took place." If you go back like 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, the shame is that his audience.
I love declining from Post Malone to Loner Box and that girl with a microphone.
Is going to walk away just thinking like that's it. Like they trust him, They're like, yeah, no, China's cool. It's all America's fault.
Yeah,
He actually literally says multiple times in a video that you could have just bothered to watch, where he literally is like, China is not like perfect. Wait, I'll also show you another clip from that video, because it's funny, because this is just like, it is ridiculous to sit here and think, you know, oh no, he loves China, he says everything's perfect, that it's all America's fault.
It's not all, it's not the way that you think it is. Like, under normal circumstances, if you're thinking about like oppression in general, it's usually like the assumption is that you can't even be like visibly gay in public. You know what I mean? And it's not like that. However, they have lagged far behind the Western world in terms of not visibility necessarily, but like legalization of certain aspects of queer existence. It's true. It's true.
Like, you could just watch what he says. Like, you could genuinely just watch what he says. Like, I'm sorry, he literally says all the things you want him to say.
Is it homophobic to call San Francisco a gay city? I don't think so. I think back in the day,
Actually, it's America's fault. There's no. He literally did that. He says, actually, it's America's fault. There's no longer gay apps in China. How did he do that?
The American government literally blocked that deal from happening because they were like, no, too many of our dudes are sucking penises on there. Too many dudes in Congress are sucking penises on there. We can't let like the Chinese get backdoor access into this. This is a real thing that took place. And I assume that this is basically the reverse version.
So when he says this is a real thing that took place, what exactly do you think he means?
Curious.
Well, it literally seems to be a real thing. This is what is said by The Verge, and it doesn't sound outrageous. I mean, we're literally seeing the same thing with TikTok right now.
I think what he means is that the U.S. government is the reason that
the
Grindr doesn't exist anymore. Like that literally happened. But here is what actually happened. A Chinese tech company already owned Grindr. They had bought it in two parts. It's the Chinese gaming firm Beijing Kunlun. In 2018, between 2016 and 2018, they bought Grindr in two parts, 40% in 2016, or 60% in 2016, and then 40% in January 2018. So that was the sale, and that literally has nothing to do with why Grindr is now not available in China. 2 years later, the American government did say, we don't trust a Chinese company having the data of American citizens, not our politicians sucking penis. It's like literally that piece is this.
You could also tell that was a bit of a joke, by the way, as well.
Same as TikTok. But the app still ran in China for 2 years. It wasn't removed till 2022 when the current authoritarian government started clamping down ahead of the Beijing Winter Olympics. They went on this
Olympics.
They went on this like morality kick across the country, doing these clampdowns on
Nightmare Blunt Rotation. Indeed, MKMT. Thanks for the $2. The Noxolotl. No, the hit piece on Bad Empanada and the Tabernacle. Ridiculous. Who was it by? I didn't see that hit piece. No. Thanks for the $2. Yeah.
On gay people, the visibility of gay, queer, trans people. And one of the big things was Grindr. The Cyberspace Administration in 2022, in January, said they're on a campaign to create a civilized, healthy, festive, and auspicious online atmosphere for public opinion during the Lunar New Year.
This is, like, definitely really problematic. But, like, I'm not gonna lie, the Western right is really interested in doing this kind of stuff. They're both really interested in doing this kind of stuff, like making being gay less visible in public life. It is not really like some outrageous thing, and Hassan has even admitted that it is lagged behind. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. It is utterly ridiculous. Of course, Ethan gets weirded out by privacy. Yeah, he wants to take all their. He wants to sue China.
So they tied it to the holiday, and in addition to Grindr being removed at this time, a bunch of LGBTQ activists in college had their WeChat accounts completely wiped out. So these were like messaging accounts with no explanation, no warning, nothing. They just like these entire WeChat groups for LGBTQ rights kids on campus were blocked. So this was kind of the heyday of the morality clampdown that was happening.
The writing is on the wall, clearly, you know.
The writing is on the wall. This is Mao. This is Mao doing this.
Yeah, totally.
So is there another video you want me to open?
Yeah, let me share that one with you, because that's when he starts fighting with the chatter who has actually lived in China for the last 7 years and who tells him.
Even Ethan Klein is bored by this, so that's enough of that, because he has filled us with plentiful content this week. Now, I guess I should show you the video that has caused the upset. I had a tweet do well off this as well. Apparently I can get verified for £1, which is so exciting. So a video emerged, and it started with this account, David Sheen, who's like a guy who lives in Haifa, and he's like a researcher. And the video is this. It said, "The KKK kids are not all right." By the way, this guy is he is a Jewish man who lives in Israel. Someone I know met him, and this like Zionist who lives in where they do activism, like just started shouting out during his talk, and they have a meeting. This video is crazy, to be fair, by the way. It's also amazing because I am not the tallest guy, but Bezalel Smotrich is tiny. How is this guy the same size as the children? This is actually such a horrifying video. The KKK kids loving Bezalel Smotrich. I mean, by the way, this is a guy who literally said, verbatim, he did not want his wife giving birth next to an Arab because they are his enemy. He doesn't believe in the two-state solution. He is one of the key funders of the settler movement. He is nothing but one of the most horrifying extremists that you could possibly find. But of course, because Taylor Lorenz dared to post about him, she has got herself in major, major, major trouble with all of this. I'm trying to find Taylor's original tweet about the KKK kids. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, Taylor actually retweeted my tweet. My tweet's also worth noting. In 2016, over 67% of Jewish Israeli high schoolers self-identified as right-wing. If that doesn't terrify you, then I don't know what will. And I link there's a Times of Israel article here. It's based on a study. So 67% of kids in Israel identify with the Israeli right. So already that's something to be commenting on, you know. I don't think that there's any reason to like sort of, you know, deny that that is an important thing or that matters at all. Because obviously that's very worrying, and especially someone who's concerned allegedly about the Israeli right, they should be worried about that kind of stuff, you know? Like if you're worried about the settler movement, if you're worried even about just the health of the Israeli state, even if your position comes from that, then you should be very, very concerned by it. Like Taylor Lorenz has done nothing wrong here. But of course, she's provoked the wrath of woke Ethan Klein. Woke Palestine Ethan Klein. Sorry, I'm just trying to find something. If I did something. Because I accidentally showed... No. It's okay. It's completely fine. Yeah, yeah. 7%. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. Really high-octane commentary going on here. But, yeah, he's now... So, where did he actually say? So, here's Ethan's tweet. So, Taylor Lorenz said, Israel has a serious problem with Nazi youth. These children are being indoctrinated from a very young age. That is categorically true. And by the way, the level of indoctrination to support an apartheid state, to support a genocidal entity, to support a country that is continually violating the human rights of Palestinians in a way that is not possible for Hamas, for anyone to engage with, you know, like any Palestinian group to engage with is crazy to even draw a comparison. But yeah, calling them Nazis is racist point blank. Already, this sounds like, you know, any Israeli propagandist. Using Nazi as an insult against a Jewish person is a slur. Why? Why? Why is it a slur? That is an insane thing to say. The Nazis were a political movement in the same way that Zionism is. And talking about people who you say are valid military targets, who are horrible extremists, and saying that it's a slur to call them a Nazi is crazy. If these kids are saying horrible things, there are a ton of different words to use. Extremists, religious supremacists, bigots, or just call them racist. The reason Taylor and others use this word is because they know it's especially hurtful to call a Jewish person a Nazi, to normalize the weaponization of this word as a slur against Jewish people. This guy is crazy. This guy is meant to be a pro-Palestine activist. This is like what Douglas Murray says. This is what some of the most insane Zionist propagandists say. They say, oh, it's a slur that this is specifically being done to harm Jewish people. No, it is because the Zionist project has reached a point where the racism is on par with Nazism in terms of what they espouse. Like, I challenge you to read the works of Meir Kahane, who is the inspiration of Ben Gvir. He called him his rabbi, his hero. He prayed at Kahane's grave. I challenge you to read Kahane's work about, in fact... This is, by the way, the hero of like the Israeli right.
In Israel, in any of the major cities, in every coffee house you will find thousands of Arabs throughout the country sitting with Jewish girls. In many cases, the Jewish girl doesn't even know that this is an Arab. The Arab Ibrahim will say to her that his name is Avi, Avraham. The Arab Musa will say that he is Moshe. And that's how it begins, and we don't even know about it, we who sit in the exile. The tragedy of Jewish girls. 4,000 Jewish women today married to Muslims. And bear in mind that in order to marry a Muslim, it means that she had to convert to Islam. 4,000 Jewish women today who converted to Islam and who are living today in our villages with their Arab husbands and their Jewish children who are Arabs. The prostitutes of Israel are overwhelmingly Jewish, and the pimps are overwhelmingly Arabs.
This guy is just Israeli Hitler. Like, straight up, this guy is Israeli Hitler, and people who are fans of him are in the Israeli government. Trash Discourse is the bread tuber. Thanks for the $2. Yeah. But this guy is like, Hitler. Like, no exaggeration. His most famous book is called Never Again, which is about how Jewish people should have a legitimate right to violence against Palestinians because they're evil Nazis. And then the other one, like, I'm actually way more concerned about calling Palestinians Nazis because in the context of Israel, why it's so dangerous is because Israelis use it for the specific reason of demonizing Palestinian activists, of making it seem as if the Palestinian liberation movement has a similarity with Nazism, and therefore Palestinians are deserving of the same kind of things. Ben Gvir technically isn't, and well, I guess he's an Iraqi Jewish person, but he's also Kurdish, I believe. So yeah, this is just unbelievable. Just like, and this guy, and apparently it's a slur to call this guy a Nazi. Do you know what as well? There's an amazing story that Ben Gvir, right, when there's an Israeli TV show called Par Politica, and it was like a political commentary show in the 90s. Ben Gvir, as a young man, was on it. He was on there with like some major media producer in Israel. Now, the major media producer says to Ben Gvir, "Oh, Itamar, you little Nazi," and Itamar, because he's friends with this guy called Baruch Ben Yosef, who's a settler lawyer, and Ben Gvir actually was a lawyer for the settlers for a long time. Anyway, this guy sues sues the host for Ben-Gvir. Now, this goes all the way to the Israeli Supreme Court. David Sheen talks about this if you want to see the full story. But anyway, this goes all the way to the Supreme Court. And what happens is the Supreme Court says, okay, yeah, you've slandered him. You've slandered Ben-Gvir. You've called him a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. However, the Israeli Supreme Court finds that Ben-Gvir and his views are so similar to Nazism that they only make the guy pay 1 shekel, which was like 25 cents at the time, because they were just like, yeah, this guy is basically for all purposes beyond, the German supremacy shit. He is a Nazi because he believed in this guy's ideology. But apparently it's a slur to call Jews Nazis now.
And this is the Jewish state. For this we dreamed for 2,000 years. And the tragedy within the tragedy is that the overwhelming majority of these girls are Sephardic Jews who come from communities that for 1,500 years preserved their Jewishness in the exile. And that which the Muslims could not do to them for 1,500 years in the exile, Jews did to them in the state of Israel. Is this the kind of a state that we want? Is this the kind of a state that we are speaking about?
He is an amazing representation of why this slop is just so ridiculous. These kids may very well be expressing evil, but use your supposed elite 100k per year education, Taylor. Surely there is more to do with the world than Nazi or not. There's another video that I want to watch where he's in Jerusalem. What's this called? The reason also I would use the term Nazi over evil is because they're expressing an extremist form of identity politics that reminds me of the Nazis, in the sense that the Nazis were very much linked with American settler colonialism. La Chinois, that's the name of the movie.
This isn't Israel. It's Palestine. Arabs, Arabs, and more Arabs. What will happen in another 10 years? How many Arabs will be living here? In 1967, we had a golden opportunity. When we liberated the city, we could have removed them all. They expected us to slaughter them, but there was no need for physical harm. Just transfer. Out. We missed our chance. It was a serious mistake for all generations. Jerusalem, a Jewish city, the Jewish capital. But Jews are afraid to walk here today. In the evening, there are no Jews here. They're afraid. Jews are stoned and stabbed. But the Arabs are not afraid. Tell me, who are the conquerors and who are the conquered here? Will this city be Yerushalayim or Al-Quds? We have to decide now, because time is running out.
So amazing that this guy was elected to the Israeli Knesset, and the two people who were elected, who were the second and third, one of them is a rabbi called Yisrael Ariel, who is the key figure in the movement to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. He runs something called the Temple Institute, so it's this guy. And then the third person on Kahana's running ticket was Baruch Goldstein. Yes, you heard that right. The American Jewish settler who went over to live in Palestine and massacred 29 worshippers at the Cave of the Patriarchs, the Ibrahimi Mosque. And apparently we should be more focused on whether it's okay or not to call Israeli Jewish people Nazis. The man is ranting about how all Palestinians should be expelled. This guy apparently also might have got 7% in the vote had he not been banned. His main political party program was "They Must Go." And now he is someone who is Now he is someone whose ideology is dominant in the state of Israel. He believed in, like, killing every Palestinian. And by the way, the material effects of this was, this is written about by Tom Segev in his book, which is maybe up there. No, it's not. What's it called? The 7th Million, Israelis and Holocaust Memory, or something like that. And he talks about how in the wake of Kahana, there was like a major problem in the Israeli military where you had Israeli soldiers calling themselves the Mengele squads and coming up with plans to exterminate Palestinians, which is, you know, amazing stuff. He's then also now begun his favorite thing. Taylor, could you please explain the difference between what you said and what Rudy Giuliani said? Because Taylor said, of course Ethan Klein, who supports Israel's genocide, cut out the video I quote tweeted. But that video aside, it's a reality that the children of Israel are fed a hateful ideology. Excuse me. Oh dear. This is what happens when you get 6 beers disease. Oh, God. 6 beers are eating me up inside. Henry, thanks for the 5 gifted. Of course, you're not going to get a noise, but unfortunate. But yeah, Henry, shout out Henry. Thank you so much. Can you link the Discord? Yes. I played the Zionist or Nazi thing. But yeah, could you please explain the difference? And Taylor was saying, but that video aside, it's a reality that children in Israel are fed a hateful ideology about Palestinians from a very young age. This is similar to how Nazis indoctrinated their children during World War II. The problem is that in the context of Israel, however you feel about Israel and Palestine, one of them is running a genocidal apartheid state that has been operating for decades. It has maintained an occupation of Palestinian land. It has continually denied Palestinians the right to have their own state, even when they accepted 22% of their historic homeland and gave out 78% to their colonizers, the people who had stolen their land. Yes, join the Discord or we'll ban Grindr in the West. But yeah, the people who had stolen their land, they gave up the land to them, and that wasn't good enough. Israelis have to be taught to maintain a system of hatred and oppression that is so much larger than Palestinians who react to the material conditions of being expelled from their land ever since the inception of the Zionist project. It's not just Netanyahu. 82% support expelling Palestinians from Gaza. 56% support expelling Palestinian citizens of Israel. 47% agree that when conquering an enemy city, the IDF should act as the Israelites did in Jericho, under Joshua's command, killing all inhabitants. Yeah, I remember seeing those articles. I think it was a Haaretz article. But Ethan Klein has just been on an absolute madness. Like, I cannot believe that this guy still maintains that he is a leftist when Gila categorically said, I mean, like, I'm sorry, it is so obvious that Israeli hate is the far bigger problem in Palestine than Palestinians. Palestinians are the oppressed, Israelis are the oppressors. Like, categorically, Israelis are the oppressors. There are no two ways about it. If you believe they're doing apartheid, why the hell would you claim that Palestinians... that it's a problem to talk like this about Israel? Like what Rudy Giuliani said is objectively worse because it is leading to mass slaughter of Palestinians. That's not happening that is not happening to Israelis. Israelis are not being mass slaughtered. It's not. Yeah, you have to opt in for gift memberships. Who actually got gifts? Let's have a look. MKMT, I saw already posting about it. RO41CG. V5401, Farren Wolf, 1561, and Kermit Thorson. So shout out to all of the new members. But yeah, like just, I don't know, between his yellow Peril madness and just his obsession with Hassan Piker and his desire to constantly dunk on Taylor Lorenz, when objectively... If you are so against the settler movement and you think that it is so extreme, and you see videos of Israeli children screaming over Smotrich, a man who is openly working towards expelling Palestinians, Like, I'm sorry. This is a guy who's saying Gaza will be entirely destroyed, Israeli minister says. He is the person in control of Israel's economy. And we constantly hear, by the way, as well, from, like, Ethan, that most Israelis just want peace. That they have no interest in, like, violence against Palestinians. My brother, you literally just saw a video of Israeli children, like, screaming over the gnome man, Bezalel Smotrich. He is a gnome, by the way. I think he was also involved with the gnome party, but he looks like a gnome because he's 160 centimeters. Like, if I saw Smotrich in real life, both in arm size, chest size, leg size, I would dwarf him, but also in height, which is an oddity for me and someone like me and anyone really, like me dwarfing someone. He would look tiny. He would look tiny compared to me. And I didn't mean that in an offensive way. I wasn't saying that he has... that he's a little person. I was saying in terms of the term dwarf to mean outsize. Okay? But yeah, like, I just find it crazy that, like, your instant reaction is to run defense and demonize Taylor Lorenz. But I guess when you're in the yellow peril madness, Ethan is worried that China is taking over and paying Hassan, you know? And that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem. Like, you know, China does plenty of bad things. China is not doing great things around Sudan at all. Like, Chinese weapons alongside Western weapons keep ending up inside Sudan in the hands of the RSF, like advanced equipment. So, yeah. He looks like the Swedish Gen X reviewer. What? Bezalel Smotrich, you think? He's also got a horrible voice. Bezalel Smotrich. The Arabs will all go. Oh, no.
מתוך אחדות ירושלים, מתוך קדושת ירושלים, מתוך שמחת ירושלים, נזכה בעזרת השם להרחבת גבולות ארץ ישראל, לגאולה שלמה ולבניין בית המקדש כאן.
By the way, as well, Ethan was like on a whole thing about the Western Wall, wasn't he? Western Wall. He was like on a whole thing. This guy wants to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Where's the thing about him talking about the Western Wall? Ethan Klein, Western Wall. But also, by the way, like, I just feel like I'm looking for this clip, but I can't find it. Like, but here's a clip of Ethan Klein. He doesn't really talk that differently from most of these people.
Okay. One state solution. I find it incredible that people think that Hamas is going to take over all of Israel and happily coexist with fucking Israelis.
By the way, I also love this mischaracterization of just going instantaneously, oh, it's all Hamas, like it'll only ever be Hamas. That's not what it's going to be. It's not. When we're talking about Palestinian liberation and a one-state solution, as leftists, what we hope for is like a progressive movement. We hope for something that creates a state of all of its citizens, you know?
One-state solution is the fucking literal... I mean, one-state solution is like kind of the same thing. Because if you have a one-state solution and the right to return, which I agree with, right? I mean, Israel has the right to return. If there's a state of Palestine, it makes sense. But if you're in one state, all that's going to happen is like everybody is trying to bring as many people there as possible. And like by the time they're frankly...
Israel brought over 1 million Jews from the Soviet Union after 1990. It is currently bringing over Jews from India who it believes have more of a right to live in Palestine than actual Palestinians.
There are a lot of Palestinians, right, in the area. And once the Palestinians outnumber the Jews, basically anything is fair game for the Jews. Anything. And I'm sorry, but Hamas...
Also, by the way, literally anything is fair game for the Palestinians right now. Like, literally, Israel is constantly perpetrating war crimes, even post-ceasefire.
The governing fucking body there wants to kill all the fucking Jews.
like it's genuinely just amazing, like the things that we're seeing. Gaza will be entirely destroyed, as I mentioned. Palestinian population will leave in great numbers to third countries. He is openly calling for a war crime that the Nazis, that all of the worst regimes in history have perpetrated. And the thing is the more you just go back into this, like, so many people made videos about the content nuke, but listen to this.
Move to Hamas, the catalyst for this entire thing. They're the ones that committed this horrible act of terrorism, one of the worst the world has ever seen, on October.
I mean, already just listening to that, saying that Hamas are just the main reason for all of this is, like, insane. It is genuinely an insane thing to say. Like, obviously, it is Israel. Israel is the settler colony. And the reason that people make connections with the Nazis is because America inspired the Nazis, which, you know, was a part of colonialism anyway. And then Israel was inspired by America. Like, this is undeniable. And so too were the Nazis. Like, by the way, they were also inspired, the Zionist project. Herzl and many figures were inspired specifically by the scramble for Africa. Right, sorry. I'll put it out in the actual content nuke. Guys, I'm not stealing content from Ethan. Everyone should go check out this wonderful piece of media that is the H3H3 content nuke. It's so brilliant and arty.
I'm a propagandist.
Or he's being paid, which, you know, we can't rule out. What a pathetic propagandist piece of shit liar he is. And now, let's move to Hamas, the catalyst for this entire thing. They're the ones that committed this horrible act of terrorism, one of the worst the world has ever seen, on October.
By the way, also, at this point, like, just claiming that October 7th is one of the worst things that the world has ever seen as an act of terrorism, the amount of things that the American government have done, like, truly just dwarf and eclipse this. Like, undeniably, they eclipse it. And also, what Israel has done in Gaza and what it was previously doing. There is no comparison between a singular day of violence and the structure of a violent genocidal apartheid state.
October 7th. They are, without a doubt, the most extreme of all of these terrorist organizations. They are Islamic jihadists that want to convert all of Israel into an Islamic state under Sharia law. That's their stated goal. Hamas has been on the designated terrorist group pretty much as long as there's been a group. These guys have been suicide bombing civilians before ISIS leaders were even born. They fight.
ISIS is very different to, by the way, to Hamas. ISIS have very different beliefs. But also, what I'll say here about this topic, Hamas's first suicide bombing inside 48 Palestine, by the way, did not happen until the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre. Like, that is materially true. Hamas carried out the first ever bombing inside Israel as a result of the Ibrahimi Mosque.
Fired 50,000 rockets into civilian populations and performed over 100 suicide bombings, killing thousands of civilians. Women are restricted from participating in the workplace and public life.
These are all definitely things to criticize about Hamas, but using them in the context of saying Israel is good. And I mean, you all remember that Ethan did undeniably say as well, on the topic of Palestine, that the responsibility for everything lies with Hamas. Like, he literally just said that. And he also said that if you hate Israel,
Jerusalem,
Iran is the real evil. Ah, here it is.
Jerusalem. It's not because the scenery is great.
Why do they put this crying face on him? Why?
So the Western Wall is the center of the Old City in Jerusalem. The Old City, which is the historic part of the city that has all these landmarks. This section, there is what's known as the Western Wall in English. And this is one of the remaining walls of the Great Holy Temple that was said, this wall was built 2,000 years ago. And it's said it's the closest wall to an inner sanctum in the temple where God himself dwelled. And so it's the holiest place in the Jewish religion, right here. This wall. People travel all around the world to come here. And then to say it's just a wall, calm down, man. It's the holiest place in Judaism. It's just kind of speaks for itself. But
By the way, as well, Israel is trying to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Like, undeniably, Israel is trying to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Like, this is something that is happening. This is something that Bezalel Smotrich, you literally just heard him talk about.
This most lackluster.
It's just, these are just clips of him, like, just being disrespectful towards the Western Wall after, like, giving this
And
sort of spiel.
Then to say calm down, it kind of speaks for itself, bud.
This most lackluster spectacle of all time. It's actually just a wall. It's actually just a wall.
And then to say it's just a wall, calm down, man. It's the holiest place in Judaism. It's just kind of speaks for itself, bud.
It's actually just a wall.
And like you just say it's just a wall, whatever. You just can't talk
If
like
it was
that
just a
about
wall,
other...
It's actually just a wall.
And it still means a lot to me.
I am completely secular, and I've been there a couple times, and it's a special place. I mean, it's a holy place. Anyone can feel it. It's like a spiritual place. It's a place for prayer. It's a place for reflection. It's a place for...
And even just historically.
The history of it all is what makes this whole area also feel so, like, divine, or just inspired. It's just so big. It's so much bigger than us, right? But Hassan, he doesn't care, and he doesn't care to learn. What a fucking loser.
Should walk and talk.
I'm just thinking about how much I hate Israel and can't wait to leave. It's like, if the country's so holy, why does everybody leave dog shit and garbage everywhere on the fucking ground? If this place is so fucking holy, why does everybody literally take a shit in the fucking street and not have to walk through it? I get the feeling sometimes it's clean in here. Goddamn shit, butt, fuck, cancer, India, than it is in...
It's also just amazing how racist Ethan is, and like he still maintains. I know Paige Christie had a very long video about his blackface.
Holy country. Jerusalem sucks, dude.
It's in his yellow peril madness, in his obsession with his watching of Fu Manchu videos every single day, and Fu Manchu being defeated by the good white British person. He's gone insane. He's gone absolutely insane, and he now just denies things that he actually was talking about for like the longest time. That he didn't care about any of this when he's there. He literally only cares about it now to dunk on Hassan. He never cared about Israel when he lived there, you know? God. It's just insane. Like, yeah, you can see how miserable he is there. Someone told me this. Like, he loves being racist, and dog shit mentioned. Yeah. I mean, he noticed it. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, like, just all of this stuff now, where he's like, oh, I'm upset that someone's calling, like, the far right in Israel Nazis. That's a slur against Jewish people. Bro, this is like the IHRA definition of the Holocaust. The Holocaust Remembrance thing. The International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance is the IHRA. And it's like, you can't call Jewish people Nazis. That's not allowed. That's apparently anti-Semitic. And the sole reason for that is to stifle speech. It is not specifically offensive to Jewish people. It is to highlight the example of historical violence where an attempt was made to exterminate an entire people. It is different, of course, to what the Israelis did, but it wasn't like just this random evil aberration. What the Nazis did was an inherently violent and racist political thing that, like Israel, has only gotten worse and worse throughout the time that it was in power. And so the comparison is increasingly apt. Leibovitz invented the term Judeo-Nazis. There are plenty of there's not plenty. There are plenty of people who wrote about this and have spoken about it. There's some guy who talked about this. It's on Gaza Beach, Avi something. I don't know what it's called. I've mentioned it before. Ari Shavit, I think his name is. And he talks about like how increasingly he feels like he's becoming a Nazi because he looked at what they were doing and just like mass torturing. And by the way, it wasn't actually that different to what Hila did. She just wasn't obviously a torturer. I need to clean my glasses. Hold on. I spilt something on my top. That's annoying. Who knows what that is? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, to be an Israel propagandist. It's totally the Trump model. Lie through your teeth and bank on the fact that people won't look it up. It's also a model where he's kind of created and cultivated this image where he's just attacked because of anti-Semitism, that he's attacked because everyone is mental and hates him for no reason other than him being Jewish, rather than confronting the fact that there are very reasonable criticisms and that he is clearly now just incredibly willing to defend Israel because people are criticizing it. Like, that's it, frankly. Like, that is it. That is literally just it. Like, I'm sorry, what is the difference between Ethan Klein and Naz Daily, you know? Like, Naz Daily might be more interested in Emirati propaganda than Ethan is, but ultimately, materially, they are just not that different. I'm sorry. Like, Ethan Klein is someone who continually does propaganda. But that has been a long segment on Ethan Klein, so that is certainly enough of Ethan Klein for today. Right. I'm going to go pee, because I really need to, and then we're going to cover the Pete Hegseth mania thing. So, thanks for all being here so far. I'll try and stream for another hour at minimum. Yeah, I'll try and stream for another hour at minimum. You can have I'm from Jerusalem, because this is my favorite. Is it too loud, by the way?
أنا للقدسي للبلدة القديمة أنا من شوارع فلسطين الحبيبة أنا للقدسي للبلدة القديمة أنا من شوارع فلسطين الحبيبة أنا من القدسي 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 من البلدة القديمة أنا من شوارع فلسطين الحبيبة أنا من القدسي من البلدة القديمة أنا من شوارع فلسطين الحبيبة أنا من القدسي أنا من القدسي أنا من القدسي أنا من القدسي الشوارع في المزارع في المصانع في الطرقات في الشوارع في المزارع في المصانع في الطرقات سأبقى أناضل لتحرير الأرض والإنسان سأبقى أناضل لتحرير الأرض والإنسان أنا من القدسي 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 بالبلدة القديمة أنا من شوارع فلسطين الحبيبة أنا من القدسي بالبلدة القديمة أنا
I'm back. No more song for you guys. I forgot we actually have something else that's very, very, very funny to cover, which is obviously this girl from the University of Oklahoma. I'm sure that some of you have seen this at least. This is one of the best things that I've seen in a while. So Turning Point USA released an amazing statement about some poor victim girl who'd been treated so badly. And yeah, so, another beautiful classic American lady. Transgender professor fails student for quoting the Bible in her essay. Wow. You know, this seems like a very true and exciting headline, which definitely will be based in reality. You know, this is exactly the kind of thing that I instantaneously make the choice to believe. For a psychology course at the University of Oklahoma, Samantha Fulnecki, what a name, Fulnecki, was asked to write a 650-word essay reacting to an article about how people are perceived based on societal expectations of gender. In her essay, Fulnecki I be giving full necky these days, argued that traditional gender roles should not be considered stereotypes. She cited the Bible to support her stance, that eliminating gender in society would be detrimental because that would put people farther from God's original plans for humans. She received 0 points out of 25 on the essay. Transgender professor Mel Curtis said, Miss Fullnecky failed to use empirical evidence and called parts of her essay offensive. To call an entire group of people demonic is highly offensive, especially a minoritized population, the instructor wrote in the online grading platform. Fullnecky says she followed the assignment guidelines and should not be penalized for her religious viewpoints. OU officials point to the formal grade appeal process as the students awaits a decision. You know, we had like a scandal like this in the UK, but it was to do with a student who wrote an essay about Palestine, and she just cited the Times of Israel as like her only source without any kind of like without any like critical thought about it. And yet the like pro-Israel lobby in the UK got her grade changed, and then she went on, if I remember correctly, to write articles about babies being dolls in Gaza. So as you can see, you know, there's an amazing precedent in history. But of course, Turning Point is telling us great things. Obviously, Charlie's not here no more, and obviously we're all Charlie Kirk, so we're all supporting this kind of statement. We at Turning Point OU stand with Samantha. We should not be letting mentally ill professors around students. I mean, Charlie Kirk was always around the students, he just wasn't a professor. Clearly this professor lacks the intellectual maturity to set her own bias aside and take grading seriously. 100. Professors like this are the very reason conservatives can't voice their opinions in the classroom. She actually said beliefs, but oh well. Kudos to Samantha for leading by example and standing up for what she believes in. University of Oklahoma, do better! Now, the essay is brilliant. Like, put frankly, the essay is art. I am genuinely really, really impressed by it. I think that this is the whole thing. The article was very thoughtful. Oh no, I'm not reading it in an accent the whole time. Sorry. You're gonna have to force me to do that. Charlie was my professor. Charlie was the world professor, I think. This article was very thought-provoking and caused me to thoroughly evaluate the idea of gender and the role it plays in our society. The article discussed peers using teasing as a way to enforce gender norms. I do not necessarily see this as a problem. God made male and female and made us differently from each other on purpose and for a purpose. God is very intentional with what he makes. And I believe trying to change that would only do more harm. He is capitalized here. Is that something to do with God? It's a reaction note, so yeah, it's not quite an essay. Gender roles and tendencies should not be considered stereotypes. Women naturally want to do womanly things because God created us with those womanly desires in our hearts. Like, surely you would just, at least bother to go and cite something that's like, oh, here are some studies that point in favor, and here's why I believe this. Not just going, God told us this. Yes, actually, there is something to be said about this. Someone called Fullnecky after what happened to Charlie? I don't think so. I think there are funny things happening in this world. I just think that we need to look into it. I'm not saying there's anything there, but Miss Fullnecky, after what the woke left did to Charlie, the teacher could have been triggered by her name being Fullnecky, which may well have been a tribute to Charlie. Women naturally... Oh, sorry, here we go. The same goes for men. God created men in the image of his courage and strength, and he created women in the image of his beauty. He intentionally created women differently than men, and we should live our lives with that in mind. It is frustrating to me when I read articles like this and discussion posts from my classmates of so many people trying to conform to the same mundane opinion so they do not step on people's toes. Or maybe they actually reacted to the paper rather than retreating into God told me everything. Like in your religion, right? In your religion, God was humiliated on earth by human beings. God was not omnipotent. God was not all-powerful to stop his own son being killed on the cross. And yet you think that that you should base all of your opinions around some, plan of God's. And I'm not saying that to mock Christians. This is like an opinion of people like Zizek, kind of, or more McGowan, when he talks about God. And Hegel as well. Like, God went down to earth as God in the Christian beliefs. Christ is God, and he was on earth and died at the hands of human beings. And yet this person is like, actually, God told us that we should be hateful and horrible. Hi, Chris DXR and chat. Hi. I think that is a cowardly and insincere way to live. It is important to use the freedom of speech we have been given in this country, and I personally believe that eliminating gender in our society would be detrimental, as it pulls us further from God's original plan for humans. That is an incredibly long sentence. Chris, thanks for turning me on to McGowan. Yeah, he's good. His book about Hegel's really good. He's a very interesting thinker. I really like psychoanalysis. I think it's worth doing. I think if there's also something you want to get into, look at parapraxis, which means Freudian slip. But yeah, it's really good. I just think, investing this much belief in, God tells you got to be mean to trans people is fucking crazy. It is perfectly normal for kids to follow gender stereotypes because that is how God made us. But did God make us in a way that our idea is just to profit from this and continually force people into gender stereotypes by basically selling, specific items for boys? Because I'm not so sure about that. I think that that's a pretty odd belief to hold. But, The reason so many girls want to feel womanly and care for others in a motherly way is not because they feel pressured to fit into social norms. It is because God created and chose them to reflect his beauty and his compassion in that way. In Genesis, God says that it is not good for man to be alone, so he created a helper for man, which is a woman. Many people assume the word helper in this context could be condescending and offensive to women. However, the original word in Hebrew is ezer kenegdo, and that directly translates to helper equal to. By the way, this also should categorically be cited. That should be cited even in a reaction paper. Additionally, God describes himself in the Bible as ezer kenegdo, or helper, and he describes his Holy Spirit as our helper as well. By the way, shouldn't the comma and the full stop be inside the quotation mark? This shows the importance of God places on the role of the helper women's roles. God does not view women as less significant than men. He created us with such intentionality and care, and he made women in his image. She didn't capitalize his, but it should be his image of being a helper, and in the image of his beauty. If leaning into that role means I am following gender stereotypes, then I am happy to be following a stereotype that aligns with the gifts and abilities God gave me as a woman. This essay is shit. You are a bigot. You are a bigot against Samantha and her powerful thought. I do not think men and women are pressured to be more masculine and feminine. I strongly disagree with the idea from the article that encouraging acceptance of diverse gender expression could improve students' confidence. Society pushing the lie that there are multiple genders and everyone should be whatever they want to be is demonic and severely harms the American youth. No citation. No citation. You could make a biblical argument in favor of this, and the university would have to respect it if you actually put some effort into it. But this is literally someone who has not bothered to put in any effort and is just like, yeah, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because I am hateful. This is all it boils down to. This is just a really, really bad essay. I do not want kids to be teased or bullied in school. However, pushing the lie that everyone has their own truth and everyone can do whatever they want and be whoever they want is not biblical whatsoever. The Bible says that our lives are not our own, but that our lives and bodies belong to the Lord for His glory. I live my life based on this truth and firmly believe that there will be less gender issues and insecurity in children if they were raised knowing that they do not belong to themselves, but they belong to the Lord. Wow. This is amazing. Full Necky might be one of the thinkers of our time. She might be one of the thinkers. But you know what? I wonder, like, Samantha Full Necky, because most of the discourse I've seen is like, this is so stupid. This is, like, genuinely so stupid. It's also just, like, really obvious that she didn't read the thing. That she didn't bother reading the reaction note. I actually have a tragic story for you. Someone said that apparently Samantha Full Necky was replaced with someone from Tel Aviv. So she's a tennis player, Full Necky, red shirt freshman. So she is apparently replaced by someone from Samantha Full Necky. I wonder if there's any videos of her playing. Oh no, she was replaced by Mika Butchnik. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely an amazing story. And once again, I do want to reiterate, like, this is just what I see. TPUSA woman named Samantha Full Necky, Harry Potter Kingsley Shacklebolt ass name. With a video of iShowSpeed edited. Her mum has social media. God, her mum is saying amazing things. Her mum is tweeting some amazing things. She's not got like a private profile and she's really easy to find. It's definitely her because she was posting photos of Miss Full Necky long before. So this is what Oklahoma University has said. The University of Oklahoma takes seriously concerns involving First Amendment rights, certainly including religious freedoms. Upon receiving notice from the student on the grading of an assignment, the university immediately began a full review of the situation and has acted swiftly to address the matter. First, the college acted immediately to address the academic issue raised by the student. College leaders contacted her on the day her letter was received and have maintained regular communication throughout this process. Important. Really, really, really important stuff. Charlie Kirk was so significant, he was literally pulled from the Bible. He was brilliant. I think it's fair to say that with all of this distance, wow, brilliant guy. As previously stated, a formal grade appeals process was conducted. The process resulted in steps to ensure no academic harm to the student from the graded assignments. By the way, I literally had my marks graded by this deranged woman who years later smeared me in a sense where she should have been held to account, but because I didn't file a complaint against her, nothing came of it. But she claimed I led an anti-Semitic mob against Jewish students, which wasn't true. She posted it to her Twitter, where she had 15,000 followers at the time. And yeah. She also now writes for LBC, which is just unsurprising. How she's a doctor is genuinely beyond me. She was marked by as well this professor who used to follow me on Instagram and then blocked me. But yeah, so I had this happen to me and she gave me like a 60 on an essay because I didn't consider the Israeli side. which is, by the way, not something you have to do at universities. It doesn't matter whether you give credibility. If you can make a convincing argument. In fact, during my master's, I was literally told, no, it's not about giving weight to the other side. That's like a high school level thing. It's about making a convincing academic argument on the basis of what you're saying. Yes, it's worth considering, like, things that would weaken your argument or alternatives and discussing them and explaining the strengths of your argument through that. But, like, just being like, no, you have to appreciate someone writing an insane thing. Like, the only reason this university will have done this, by the way, is just to capitulate to Trump. They know it's not worth it and just losing funding over this one trans student who's already marginalized. And one trans professor who they can just be like, yep, trans maniac, attack the kid. Trans maniac bad, get rid of the trans person. That's what they fucking wanted to do, okay? And also, don't want to lose funding. Let's finish up. Second, the student reported filing a claim of illegal discrimination based on religious beliefs to the appropriate university office. OU has a clear process for reviewing such claims, and it has been activated. The graduate student instructor has been placed on administrative leave pending the finalization of this process. To ensure fairness in the process, a full-time professor is serving as the course instructor for the remainder of the semester. OU remains firmly committed to fairness, respect, and protecting every student's right to sincerely held religious beliefs. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You would not accept this if someone had written something. There would be no stink kicked up if someone was like, Allah told me it's okay to commit mass murder. Like, you wouldn't do it in any other context. You wouldn't do it in the context. You probably would, actually, if it was someone who was making an argument in favor of Israel, saying, actually, it's okay to do these things because Israel is great and good and, like, moral and just. But, yeah, you know? Oh my god. Oh my god. Her mum's a January 6th lawyer. Oh my fucking god. Her mum is a January 6th lawyer. Her mum is defending this guy who was got 12 years in prison for attacking the police. It's her mum. Categorically, this is her mum. Defense attorney Christy Fulnecki claims Quaglin had received inadequate medical treatment while jailed for the past 3 years. Fulnecki also said one of Quaglin's former attorneys coerced him into accepting a stipulated bench trial instead of a contested trial. McFadden told Quaglin that his actions on January 6th were shocking and lawless. Oh my fucking god. I don't think anyone else has picked this up so far. Maybe they have. But yeah, apparently here's another comment which I can't find. Quaglin's new attorney, Christy Fulnecki, called Quaglin and other Jan 6 defendants political prisoners and repeatedly downplayed or blamed his actions on others. He's a patriot. He does support the police. Oh my god. Christy Fulnecki. Oh, Christy Fulnecki based? Christy Fulnecki? God. Here's another one. Oklahoma is this latest ride of whiny conservatives prove it. Samantha is illiterate. Samantha couldn't defend her own beliefs with actual evidence. She attacks her teachers in writings. A non-Oklahoma 5th grader could write a better essay than her. Raquel actually follows me. This is based. I like this. And then Christy Fulnecki says, Raquel, waiting on your educational experience. Crickets. I'm currently studying law and social work. You clearly should have focused better when you were in college, because you don't know shit. I study. I know what I'm doing, and what I don't know, I'm paying attention and learning. again, something you should have tried when it was your time, and something you should have taught your idiot daughter. Instead, you let her get to 20 as an illiterate, bigoted airhead who thinks everything should be handed to her and that she doesn't have to actually work. Oh, and Christy Fullnecky, your daughter keeps claiming that the Bible said this or that, but she has provided no evidence of such passages. Now that's because of two things. She's clearly stupid and therefore doesn't know what a citation is. Two, she can't cite passages in the Bible because the Bible doesn't say what she's claiming. Can't cite something that doesn't exist. Good luck in law school. I'm an attorney, and you won't make it if your arguments are insults. Oh my god, she's a Jan 6th lawyer. And also, by the way, she proudly retweeted this. How is Fullnecky a real name? I don't know. This is the Burgerreich we're talking about here. Oh, mate, I bet she's got some other banger tweets. I bet this woman has got some amazing tweets. Oh. There's a photo of her dressed up as Catwoman, which I'm not going to show. Oh, no. So Matt Bernstein had already found this out. I didn't know this. I'd not seen this. Okay, I just hadn't seen much discourse, so that's my bad. I haven't actually said anything that amazing. Just learned the mother of the student who wrote the essay is a lawyer who took on Jan 6th rioters as clients. Won my motion for pre-trial release. My Jan 6th client has just been released from the DC jail and is coming back to Missouri. His wife and baby are so happy. Jared did not commit violence. He was at the Capitol because he loves his country. In any other context, you would call this an attempt at revolution. Like, you just would. But lucky we got Christy Fullnecky. Christy is out here fighting. Christy is an attorney and owner of Fullnecky Law in Springfield. Sorry. She's from Springfield. This woman is from Springfield. Who is she, damn Homer Simpsons? I don't know. She's from Springfield. My God. Christy served as a general councilwoman for the city of Springfield, Missouri. She is also a frequent radio host. Oh my God, KSGF 104.1.
Talk 104.1, hour 2 on a Thursday. We have happy hour. Brand new location tomorrow. Vineyard was I was looking for and made the whole process feel personal and stress-free. Ryan in the finance department was just as amazing, explaining everything clearly. Car buying.
But the gaming revenue, yeah.
Good enough?
That's right.
Good enough.
A lot of drama goes on with tribes now, I'm telling you
This
right
is
now.
what I understand.
Because of all the casino per capita payments.
Yeah.
And sometimes the money goes missing, believe it or not. That's what's going on with our tribe.
So this is actually a really great question.
Oh, I'm not listening to hours of her content, but I'm sure that there are so many bangers in here. This woman, I assume, is just crazy. She's literally from fucking Springfield. She has a podcast too. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's from where I live and she's a menace. She draws fire from Satanism supporters. Fullnecky loses bigly. Finally, a list of Fullnecky's embarrassing actions for SGF. Blocked on Facebook by Fullnecky. Voter says his rights were violated. No odium for... what did that say? It is utterly ridiculous. To my favourite Brit, here's about 10 quid. Thank you for the 12 euros. Thank you so much. I'm going to spend that on sauerkraut. But yeah, throwaway. Thank you so much. That's incredibly kind. And thank you for everyone who's watching and donating. It's crazy now because... Previously, when I used to talk about Ethan, like, the views would go up to, like, 600, and then they just fall down when I stop talking about him. But, like, people really are seeming to like this streaming, and I will be consistent. I'm sorry, there should be 4 streams every week, and there'll be VODs thanks to Ethan's Basement. No odium for a sick podium. Repped by Christy Fullnecky, Ozark mum sues Cox Health CEO over COVID promo and social media screenshots. Branson judge dismisses all of Fullnecky's lawsuits against the city. Look out. Your health is not my responsibility. Oh, come on. Like, I really, really, really want to see more about this. I really want to see more about this. She seems like a fucking menace. There's more. This woman is amazing. I am so intrigued by her. I am so intrigued by her. She tried to bully a citizen by threatening legal action. Give me a break. Yes, I need your name. I honestly don't mind pages that disagree with me, just those that pose as me and create a likelihood of confusion, as you did with your newsleader comments pretending to be me. Trademark and copyright infringement, defamation. Need your name and where I can serve process. Do you have an attorney? Good luck with that. You're a public figure, a politician, and none of that applies to you. Are you just spouting legal jargon now? She threatened the chief of police on Facebook. This woman is amazing. No wonder she birthed such an idiotic daughter. My God. I'm just looking what she posts on Facebook. My God. To be honest, what did you say? To be honest, Chris covering of slop is ultimately what woke me up to anti-Zionism. I've gradually become more interested in the actual issues than Ethan's constant. Exactly. It's just funny talking about things like the yellow peril madness because it is just almost comical. I'm just looking. There's not actually that much more about her.
That point that the city combat. This is
we see.
She likes Tucker Carlson, but maybe she's gone off him now. God, Jesus Christ.
Late night, but we're not in Milwaukee.
She loves Tucker Carlson. Oh my God. God, she also just posts loads about her children. But that is... Right, that is enough of her. That is enough out of her. Right, okay, let's finish up with some more madness. The Full Neckies seem like a brilliant family, and they're a real asset to The Simpsons. Brilliant stuff is happening. Okay, right. Ugh, I'm shaking my head. We're going to cover... a bit of insanity. Of course it's insanity because it's America. So it started off with this article from the WAPO, the Woke Washington Post. Now I'm not going to read through the whole article, but the basic premise is that allegedly Pete Hegseth gave an order to commit a war crime. Now, I, for one, am shocked that a US soldier who participated in war crimes is a drunk, serial cheater, alleged to mistreat women as well, someone who is racist, Islamophobic, and so bigoted would be enjoying and reveling in mass killing. I mean, we literally saw their leaked messages on Yemen. It was hardly like they were treating any of this with, you know, significance. Sorry, I got a cough again. But yeah, so allegedly, Feet Keg Breath is a brilliant name. Maybe he'll replace Hasbari Vice as my favourite one. Alleged sex offender I'll go for. But yeah, as two men clung on to a stricken, burning ship targeted by SEAL Team 6, the epic American boys, the Joint Special Operations Commander followed the Defense Secretary's orders to leave no survivors. By the way, I used to think, like, oh God, it's so bad that there's, like, this guy who's in charge of the US military. Or I didn't think it for that long. Like, yes, it is fucking bad that Feet Keg Breath is, you know, in charge of the US military. It's worrying. But then again, is it not just better for America to have an openly declared, idiotic, mass murder-loving racist at the head of their military? Because even when they weren't doing that, they were already, you know, doing mass killings. Like, I'm sorry, George Bush spoke of a crusade in Iraq. You know? This kind of stuff of just doing war crimes is really not that surprising in the context of the US. And I kind of think having this very obvious racist maniac at the zenith of American power, for me, not that surprising. Not gonna lie. Exactly. They're just letting the mask slip. So basically, yeah, it refers to the first one, and apparently someone with direct knowledge of the operation said, the order was to kill everybody, one of them said. By the way, how stupid you have to be, as like, there was probably an unspoken thing of like going, you know, oh, make sure it's carried out to full, or like, oh, ensure there's no capacity for it to do anything, or something like that. But I do not doubt that this drunk moron was just like, we gotta kill them all for Donald. Glory. For minutes, commanders watched the boat burning on a live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. 2 survivors were clinging on to the smoldering wreck. The Special Operations Commander overseeing the second attack, the opening salvo in the Trump administration's war on suspected drug traffickers in the Western Hemisphere, ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions. 2 people familiar with the matter said the 2 men were blown apart in the water. Hegseth's orders, which had not previously been reported, adds another dimension to the campaign against suspected drug traffickers. Some current and former US officials and law of war experts said that the Pentagon's lethal campaign, which has killed more than 80 people to date, is unlawful and may expose those most directly involved to future prosecution. Hey, let me tell you something here. That doesn't matter. That does not matter. Future prosecution. This is the thing with fucking, like, US libs as well. They'll be like, oh my god, they're doing war crimes. Bro, that's like your mantra. That is what the US military does. War crimes all over the world. Unlimited war crimes for everyone. Yeah, from Bush Crusades talk to Hegseth's Crusades tattoo. What's the difference? But yeah, so the alleged traffickers pose no imminent threat of attack against the US and are not, as the Trump administration has tried to argue, in an armed conflict with the US. These officials and experts say, because there is no legitimate war between both sides, killing any of the men in the boat amounts to murder, said Todd Huntley, a former military lawyer who advised special operations forces for 7 years at the height of US counterterrorism campaign. Breaking. Lawyer who justified war crimes says this might be a war crime. Even if the US were at war with the traffickers, an order to kill all the boat's occupants if they were no longer able to fight would in essence be an order to show no quarter, which would be a war crime, said Huntley, now director of National Security Law Program at Georgetown University. So yeah, basically, they committed a war crime. Like, we knew this. And also, it is weird, like I think it's mentioned in here, but why would a boat that's allegedly for drug trafficking have so many people on it? Because with all that weight and space, would you not rather just have drugs on it? Like, it just, like someone said, literally no evidence these boats even trafficking drugs. They haven't produced the names of the people who were killed either. But like Israel, they kill and they say, oh, no, it's all okay. We killed and they were all evil terrorists and that's it, okay? That is literally it. That's it. They just do the killing, say it's okay, who cares? It'll be celebrated by the weird, Trump lovers and Americans. It's why Trenda Aragua are perfect. Trenda Aragua are like a really hard organization to pin down. They're definitely a negative influence, but as I read about them, there's not even much information about them. For many years, people thought, okay, they might not even exist. There have been a few people caught. None of them had tattoos or flaunted the gang lifestyle. They were seemingly very professional drug traffickers. But yeah. Imagine being drug traffickers and you forgot to pack the drugs. Yeah, you bring 20 people over and just forget to pack the drugs. They're doing war crimes. That is cultural appropriation. Yeah, it's an appropriation of British culture and Israeli culture. It's not very nice. But no, Israel really appropriated colonizer culture, you know. Tragic stuff. Right. But then we got Pete Hegseth doing amazing things. So Hegseth made a wonderful statement. As usual, the fake news media is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. As we said from the beginning, and in every statement, these highly effective strikes are specified to be lethal kinetic strikes. The declared intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. Every trafficker we kill is affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. The Biden administration preferred the kid gloves approach, allowing millions of people, including dangerous cartels and unvetted Afghans, to flood our community with drugs and violence. The Trump administration has sealed the border, gone on the offense against the narco-terrorists. Biden coddled terrorists, we kill them. It is just very repugnant language coming out of Pete Kegbreath. Who is the guest that Chris has on? It's actually surprisingly me. No, but he's basically claiming that it's fabricated and inflammatory, but then he's also just like, no, we're killing them. These people are so stupid. Like, it is amazing. Like, he's not even very good at denying the war crimes. Do they even understand how unhinged they sound? Yes, and I think that they don't care, because realistically, what trouble are any of these people ever gonna get in? Like, what trouble? Oh, you committed a war crime, you killed someone from another place. America has never cared about that. Yes, maybe every now and again someone gets arrested, but think about how many people get away with it. Graham Plattner is now leading a normal life when there are 2020 Reddit posts where he's just like, I wanted to kill people. I wanted to go and kill people. Which, you know, within the logic of the US military isn't really that outrageous and is probably celebrated. But yeah. Our current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law. Are you liking the accent changes there? It's now almost every word. With all actions in compliance with the law of armed conflict and approved by the best military and civilian lawyers up and down the chain of command. Our warriors in Southcom put their lives on the line every day to protect the homeland from narco-terrorists, and I will always have their back. And here's Harry Sisson. To be clear, you aren't denying the reporting and are confirming you killed 2 defenseless people who we don't know who don't know if they were guilty or not, who didn't pose an immediate threat instead of prosecuting them. We'll see you. It is utterly ridiculous. We'll see what a jury says during your 2029 trial. Yeah, man, the Democrats are really going to prosecute people for war crimes. The people you've been worshipping and loving were, happy to be very complicit in war crimes in Gaza. Americans love saying these things anyway. Exactly, Americans love fucking killing, Come on. Like, oh, God, just hearing these people, admit over and over again that, he's somehow some kind of insane outlier. They went to kill in Vietnam. They went to kill in Afghanistan. But yeah, Pete Kegbreath has also posted this. Franklin targets narco-terrorists. And this has 121,000 likes. I like how simultaneously he did this thing where he was like, oh, yeah, the fake news media is lying and being inflammatory about me. And then he just posts this. And it's just like an image, an AI image probably, of Franklin killing narco-terrorists. Bro, I don't even get it. We got some other ones from people, and one of them came from fucking Andrew Fox, I think. Someone posted this. Franklin learns about laws of, I think that's the laws of armed combat. But, like, ultimately, these people went round committing war crimes. I haven't even had a chance to get into the story today. But in the UK, look, like, also, this is why I fucking hate these people who are, like, just all of a sudden, like, actually, Pete Hegseth is gonna be prosecuted. Actually, we're still struggling to prosecute Soldier F, who gunned down innocent people on the streets of Derry in Bloody Sunday. Like, ugh. But, like, yeah, SAS war crime evidence suppressed, inquiry hearers. I'm pretty sure that there was a comment in here. Listen to this. He told the inquiry it was a matter of great regret that he had not gone sooner to the RMP, nor urged the director to refer the evidence to the RMP, a move on which he said he viewed at the time of stepping out of line. When you look back on it, on those people who died unnecessarily from that point onwards, there were 2 toddlers shot in their bed next to their parents, you know? All that would not necessarily have come to pass, he said. So this is the guy, N14666, who eventually reported the crimes 4 years after he had first raised concerns about what they'd been doing. I am sorry, people like Pete Hegseth are not outrageous. They are completely part of this. He's just laying your ugly, ugly face to bear. He's just you guys having to finally look at what you are. And then you cry and act as if he'll get prosecuted. Like, everyone cared more about the... and there was this guy. Everyone cared more about the fucking Hunter Biden prosecution. But, like, in the context of the previous one, the pardon, Eddie Gallagher, like, you can read into this guy. I'm not going fully into it because there's a lot. This guy was, he allegedly just murdered someone. He regularly bragged about shooting people, and he was referred to as evil by, you know, the people who were on a platoon with him. He got pardoned. And, like, most Americans were more outraged by other things than that, you know? Like, when I sit here and I have to listen to people who are like, we're gonna get you for war crimes, the only reason they want to get him is because he's Pete Hegseth. And because he's, like, open about, like, we love the killing, we love the killing, we love the killing. Whereas, you know, when American, like, Lloyd Austin is getting involved within it, they don't give a shit. Also, there is a video of this, but the audio-only version is so much better. So we got Trump talking about it.
Venezuela boat strike. If there were a second strike that killed people wounded in the first strike, are you thinking that would be legal?
Number one, I don't know that happened. And Pete said he did not want them. He didn't even know what people were talking about. So we'll look into it. But no, I wouldn't have wanted that. Not a second strike. The first strike was very lethal. It was fine, and if there were 2 people around, but Pete said that didn't happen.
Does that make you
I have great confidence.
You saying there's no second strike?
I don't know. I'm going to find out about it, but Pete said he did not order the death of those 2 men.
Do you have any concerns about how those boat strikes have been carried out at all?
Very little, because you can see the boats, you can see the drugs in the boats, and each boat is responsible for killing 25,000 Americans. So. And they do an amazing job. And you know, you just look at the numbers.
Yeah, Eddie Gallagher was fucking horrible as well. Like, if you read into the story, I just don't want to cover it right now because it's long. And, yeah, it's not something I'm interested in, to be honest, doing right now on stream. Like, yeah, as well, as I say, Trenda Aragua are framed as, like, Trenda Aragua are framed as these, like, you know, monstrous, evil, amorphous terrorists in the same reason that in the same way that Israel frames, like, all Palestinians as monstrous, evil terrorists. It's what they do, because then they can, you know, Hamas and Palestinian resistance generally and opposition to Israel is everywhere. It's everywhere. and it's all over Palestinian society. And Israel uses this kind of amorphous Hamas to be like, they hide amongst the civilian population. They're like, everyone is Hamas, everyone is this, everyone is that. And they do it specifically for the reason of targeting, of being able to kill Palestinians by claiming that they're like this amorphous, everywhere terrorist organization engaged in the most evil things. And that's what they're doing here. And that's exactly what they're doing. But they're ramping up. They're ramping up very obviously about what's going to happen over there. But Trump was generally very wild yesterday, and he's getting more racist or like more happy to be open.
It means get people out that are in our country. Get them out of here. I want to get them out. We got a lot of people in our country that shouldn't be here, and they came in through Biden. And he was the worst president in the history of our country. But the single biggest thing he did was allow millions of people into our country that shouldn't be here. Drug dealers, prisons were opened up and allowed to come into our country. You take a look at the people that were allowed to come into our country. We're paying a big price for it, and we will for years to come, including the recent killer of 2 wonderful National Guards people. And I'll tell you what, that animal should not have been allowed to come into our country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
He was really on crazy shit. Reverse migration, and the fact that that is being talked about by a US president is troubling, but, you know, it's not like there was any real serious pushback from the Democrats. Sanctuary cities were created under Obama because of his policies. And, like, all of this, like, just listen to Trump.
Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it. You know where the oil, their oil is garbage. It's horrible. The worst you can get, tar. It's like tar. And to refine it, you need special plants. And these people, how about we're buying oil from...
It's crazy. It's crazy what is currently going on. This guy is going to invade Venezuela and kill so many people, tear about the country. Then Europe will get more immigrants from the place, from these places like Venezuela, particularly Spain, and then they'll be blamed for Spain's problems. They'll be framed as evil Europe ruiners, and all because so Trump can kind of appease his base. Like, I'm sorry, we heard Lindsey Graham doing it a few days ago, and now we have Caroline Leavitt talking about it.
Venezuela. The president said yesterday that Secretary Hegseth had denied that second strike, the reported second strike on an alleged drug vote on September 2nd, the secretary said to the president that didn't happen. But to clarify, I just wanted you to clear this up. In his social media post, Secretary Hegseth didn't go into details about that strike. He just said U.S. operations in the area were lawful, and he said that the story and media reports were fabricated. So to be clear, does the administration deny that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. And I would...
Amazing stuff. You're all right. Like, these fucking narco-terrorists is just a justification. This amorphous specter of terrorism which justifies anything. It's why you have to push back on it so much. And especially because they were talking today about how President Hernandez was pardoned.
To clarify, Admiral Bradley was the one who gave that order for a second strike.
And he was well within his authority to do so.
And a separate question, the president several days ago said it was his intention to pardon the former president of Honduras, who was a convicted drug trafficker. And yesterday on Air Force One, the president said that if someone sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president and put him in jail for the rest of his life. How is that different than what the administration is accusing Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro of?
You're cherry picking the president's statement a little bit yesterday, as he also said yesterday the people of Honduras have highlighted to him how the former president Hernandez was set up. This was a clear Biden over prosecution. He was the president of this country. He was in the opposition party. He was opposed to the values of the previous administration, and they charged him because he was president of Honduras.
Someone put the lead investigator, the case was Emil Bove, who was a member of Trump's legal team and was appointed to the federal bench by Trump. There's also just an amazing quote I wanted to highlight. So this guy, Juan Orlando Hernandez, said, "Let's stuff the drugs right up the noses of the gringos," the double-dealing politician once allegedly bragged, as he lined his pockets with millions of dollars in bribes and turned his country into what many called a narco state. Like Trump just says he was set up. It's obviously not true that he cares about any of this. It's obviously not true. It's obviously not about this. Petro had a very base quote about all of this as well, by the way. I want to pull up Petro.
Un clan de pedófilos.
This guy sounds like a conspiracy theorist, but, you know, kind of true. The US want banana republics so fast. I mean, the US is just an insane country, but it is really just profiting against its history, profiting off its long-standing history. And also, I know that I've heard that story about Caroline Leavitt and her ex being her brother's ex getting detained by ICE.
Quiere acabar la democracia en Colombia. Duro, sí, pero ahí está la realidad. Y para que no salga la lista, entonces nos envían acorazados a matar pescadores de esta ciudad. Y amenazar al vecino, que si dictador o no, ¿cómo que el pueblo de Colombia va a aplaudir que invadan a su hermano, que no es el presidente, sino el pueblo de Venezuela?
This guy is so incredibly based.
¿Cuándo seríamos así de traidores y de vendidos, de que nuestra propia sangre la traicionamos, o el pueblo del Ecuador, o el pueblo de Panamá, o el pueblo de Venezuela no es nuestro propio pueblo? Y entonces quieren que el presidente haga lo que quería hacer Duque, cobarde, prestar las tierras de Colombia para que desde ahí se invadiera a un país hermano que tiene la misma historia que nosotros, porque allá nació Bolívar y vino a morir aquí, en esta ciudad. No se puede. Presidente de Colombia que haga eso, presidente maldito por las generaciones futuras, porque nunca será olvidado como un traidor. Y yo no pertenezco a los que querían matar a Bolívar. El gobierno de Venezuela ha hecho muchas críticas, pero no me burlo del pueblo de Venezuela, ni construyo una trampa para que caiga el pueblo de Venezuela en la trampa de una invasión que solo va por su petróleo.
It's also just unbelievably amazing that people actually believe Trump's pro-peace ticket. But then again, I think anyone who's bought up into the Trump stuff is so far gone. I remember I literally had an argument with a friend about this. They were like, no, Kamala Harris will send us to World War III. And I was like, yeah, Kamala Harris is shit, but like, Trump is more likely to do that. Like, this is just an insane foreign policy decision. This is talking about tearing apart the lives of, you know, millions of Venezuelan people to tear apart the country for what? So America can get a bit more oil, which they probably won't even bother with. Some private companies probably will, but the American government will be like, actually, it's just not worth us developing this oil. It's just not worth it.
Que se quiere es codicia y violencia más para hacer de esta esquina hermosa del continente suramericano una Siria, un Irak, una Libia llena de esclavos, de venta de esclavos de nuevo negros. No, la lista de los amigos de Stein, que no quiere que aparezca la lista en los Estados Unidos, nos quiere utilizar aquí con la violencia para que el pueblo de los Estados Unidos no piense en su propio gobierno, sino que se le suba la xenofobia, el racismo, las ideas de la raza superior y otras ideas falsas, y nos usan para no discutir sus propios problemas. El presidente de Colombia lo que ha hecho es denunciar narcotraficantes durante décadas. Y los narcotraficantes que ha denunciado siempre estuvieron en el poder político de Colombia, en el Estado.
Amazing, amazing things are happening with Petro. Hold on, again, I need to cough, and I don't want to do it on the... But yeah, he is based. I mean, he already had that very base quote about the Gaza genocide, but yeah, I'm a big fan of his. And I mean, it is true, to a very large extent. Trump is doing this to kind of avoid other questions about what's actually going on. I mean, I was watching this the other day. This is from yesterday.
The largest warship in the world, the USS Gerald R. Ford, $13 billion worth of military capability, now anchored in the Caribbean, not far short of the Venezuelan coast. Its deployment is part of a massive naval build-up in the region, Operation Southern Spear, designed, according to President Trump's administration, to be a frontline in the fight against what he terms narco-terrorist groups running illegal drugs into the US. There have been at least 21 strikes on what are thought to be boats carrying consignments of fentanyl and cocaine in these waters since September, with 83 people killed. It's been claimed, though, that innocent fishermen, rather than big-time traffickers, have, in many cases...
The other thing is people will just find new routes, right? Like, that's just what it'll come down to. There are just going to be new routes and new ways to get it in. It's not going to solve the problem, because in the societies in which we live, there is always going to be demand for narcotics. It is just ultimately better to, it is ultimately better to just legalize drugs. Like, it just factually is. The war on drugs has failed. This has been ongoing for decades. And it will fail here, but they might get to tear apart Venezuela and please the base of fucking Lindsey Graham going, we're killing the right people.
Been the victims.
Serving some Thanksgiving meals here.
Back on the carrier, the man who identifies as War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, was paying a holiday visit to the crew.
Happy Thanksgiving from the President of the United States.
It's been claimed that 2 months ago he ordered a second strike to kill everyone after the initial attack on a suspected drug boat left some thrown overboard. He's dismissed that as fake news. 2 congressional committees will scrutinise those reports this week, with several Republicans expected to join Democrats in voicing their concerns.
I think he is the least qualified.
This guy looks crazy. Mark Kelly.
Secretary of Defense in the history of our country by far.
Yeah, to be fair, you got a point. He's not that good at covering up your war crimes. God, I wish he were better.
And you can see this by how he has done this job over the last 6 months.
Criticisms of the actions of a close political ally seem unlikely to deter President Trump, who seems ever keen to keep up the pressure on those countries neighbouring the US he has concerns over. Yesterday, he declared the airspace over Venezuela should be closed, something which will further incense President Nicolas Maduro, who claims the build-up of US military hardware so close to his country's border is a move designed to drive him from power. In another indication, the president has spent the Thanksgiving weekend with the US's Latin neighbours much on his mind. He made an intervention in the general election taking place in Honduras today, throwing his support behind the conservative presidential candidate Nasri Tito Asfura.
This is actually amazing. I'll probably talk about this tomorrow because I didn't have enough chance to watch this. I did not have enough chance to watch this. However, it's kind of crazy that they were just openly like, we are going to give $20 billion to Argentina just to keep and ensure that Milei remains in power. Like, they just did that. They didn't hide it. They didn't claim anything about, like, anything else. They were just like, we'll keep giving him money to ensure that he's in power. They are influencing the elections of the countries around him. It is amazing stuff.
Mr. Trump will also grant a full pardon to a former Honduran president, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted for taking cocaine-related bribes and facilitating drug running to the United States.
It's amazing. It's just like the case of Imran Khan, where Imran Khan was, wrongly sent to prison, and we're always advocating for him in the West, right, guys?
No such clemency for those who the president sees as terrorists trading in narcotics from countries with governments he distrusts.
Like, this has to just be about trying to enact a war, because obviously Trump doesn't give a shit about drugs. He doesn't give a shit at all. He doesn't care. He doesn't care one iota about anything to do with this. But the fact is that they will get their war most likely. It looks like there's been, okay, to be fair, huge military build-up doesn't always mean that this is going to happen. But just, tearing this country apart just in favor of, I don't know, let's have another war so Lindsey Graham can say we're killing the right people is crazy to me, Or we're running out of bombs. And also, by the way, Caroline Leavitt apparently has said that the follow-up strike was legal.
Question. You said that the follow-up strike was lawful. What law is it that allows no survivors?
God, this fucking administration is so bad. Like, the only thing that they're bad at that upsets most Americans is they are bad at covering up their racism, and they are bad at cloaking what they're actually doing. They're also, by the way, I don't know if this is a really new thing. The fucking White House has started using emojis on X, the everything app. They're now constantly using the laughing, crying emoji. I guess we'll have a look at that in a second.
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
On this pardon for the Honduran president,
amazing things are happening. So the second strike was apparently legal. And the gas prices haven't even dropped. Yeah, I know. The Americans haven't even got their legalized slop. Here's Tulsi Gabbard giving us the thing we were just talking about as well.
The old Washington way of thinking is something we hope is in the rearview mirror and something that has held us back for too long. For decades, our foreign policy has been trapped in a counterproductive and endless cycle of regime change or nation building. It was a one-size-fits-all approach of toppling regimes, trying to impose our system of governance on others, intervene in conflicts that were barely understood, and walk away with more enemies than allies. The results? Trillions spent, countless lives lost, and in many cases, a creation of greater security threats.
By the way, also, that rhetoric around trillions spent is kind of annoying in the sense of, like, those trillions were just spent amongst American companies that were kind of, like, organized and bigged up by people like Dick Cheney who are heavily involved with said companies, Like, it's insane. Like, yeah, they spent loads of money, but it went back into the American war machine. Self-defense against fentanyl. Mm-hmm.
The rise of Islamist terrorist groups like ISIS. President Trump was elected by the American people to put an end to this. And from day one, he has showed a very different way to conduct foreign policy.
Yeah, man. This is amazing stuff. I haven't heard that he cancelled the Argentina bailout, but I don't know. Right. There's one final thing I want to finish on, which is the Trump MRI, which is kind of unrelated, but yeah.
About my MRI. MRIs are very...
Governor Walz asked you to release the MRI, right?
Can you tell us what it was
Governor Walz, you mean the incompetent governor? So, if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect.
What was the
It's like my phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So, if you want to hear about it, or if you want to release it, you want to have it released. News Nation, failing News Nation. News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at?
I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got perfect.
He loves talking about this fucking cognitive test.
Which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
I like how he ends it by saying you'd be incapable of doing a cognitive test that is literally made for old people, like old people who struggle mentally. Everyone in that room would be fine doing it. Like literally everyone would be fine. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it there because I'm really tired, and I told you I'm really suffering from 6-beeritis last night. But thank you all for coming. I'll see you all tomorrow. Obviously, go watch No Politic Here now. Go watch the damn channel, the new podcast, me and Isaac, Mr. Handsome and myself. There'll be a new stream tomorrow. I'll actually upload a VOD after this from last stream, so maybe if some of you want to watch that, it'll be up. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.